Not much. How you feeling, bro?
Feeling good, man. Got off work, ate my dinner. Feeling good. I'm full.
I feel you, man. Really?
Yeah, I had to go to
Yeah.
Philly. I had to go to Philly for some training for my job. And
Had to go to Philly. What was that like?
I mean, a lot of traffic. It's always a lot of traffic going in and out of Philly. But yeah, it was straight.
I know you say you wasn't gonna step foot back in Philly, so
Yeah,
so that was, you said there was a lot of traffic and shit.
yeah. But my job required me to go to training in Philly, so I had to go. Had to watch behind my back and all of that. You know what I mean?
I know. Philly got some crazy ass people.
Yeah, I haven't had soul food in a minute, so I had to pick that up. I had some jerk chicken, some macaroni and cheese, and yams.
Hold on, you ain't get Philly cheesesteak, bro?
Nah, no Philly cheesesteak, dog.
You slacking. How you gonna go to Philly and not get Philly cheesesteak?
I wasn't feeling it today. I wasn't feeling it. Maybe tomorrow.
You wasn't feeling the Philly. All right, I feel you, bro. I feel you.
What about you, man? How you? We you went to work today?
Yeah, of course. But you know, I don't like coming on the podcast talking about work. I get tired of it. And, this is one of the things. But no, actually, okay. Yesterday had this old couple come up to the register, and old guy, he seemed pretty friendly. You know how some old people like to talk extremely low.
Yeah.
So this dude was talking like super low, and I couldn't really hear him. And but I heard like the main things he was saying. And he was saying something because he's an old white man. So he was saying something to the effect like, "Yeah, man, I can tell you work hard. You know how certain people like to butter you up and shit.
Yeah.
I can tell you work hard. I had some black guys work for me. And
Wow.
they were some hard workers. I'm like, it's like I get what he was trying to do, but it was just like, come on, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. But but I give him a pass because he was old, like super, like 80, 90 years old. So it was just like, all right.
Yeah, it's like
I give him a pass.
It's like when they're at that age, they don't know that they're being ignorant. They don't know that that was just their world back then. I had some black guys work for me. That was just their world.
Yeah, that I won't really.
You wasn't tripping.
I wasn't tripping on it. Yeah, I wasn't really tripping on it. It wasn't that big a deal. You know what I'm saying?
Should have stole off on him, man.
Nah, he stole off on a 90-year-old nigga. He was cool though. You could tell. I mean, he was trying. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like he was saying it like in a rude way. He was trying. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, come on.
What if he said after all of that? What he said, my nigga.
I couldn't even be mad at him. Like, he trying. I couldn't even be mad at him. I was like, all right, bro, it's gone.
Yo, if he said that shit, my nigga.
Were you still off on him?
Nah, bro, I'm not stealing off of no old person, man. I'm just not.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he was cool. I wouldn't even pay it attention, bro.
Nah,
I wouldn't even pay it attention.
You would have gave him a pass after he said that shit.
If it was like a young white dude, then it'd be a little different. Cause especially if he had the build up that he had, and and then he ended with my nigga, then it'd be a little different. It was like a young dude, but it's just he old, right?
How would that interaction transpired if it was a 35-year-old white man?
It probably happened a little differently.
Okay.
But I don't know. I ain't never been in that situation. Cause it's like I'm not that type of person that likes to get all rah. You know what I'm saying? I try to avoid as much drama as possible.
Yeah.
So I'm not that type of person. Like if somebody try to make your mama jokes and shit, like I'm gonna just go back in on their mama. I ain't gonna sit here. Oh, what you say about my mama, nigga? Like I'm gonna fight you. Like I ain't that type of dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, you want to joke on me? I'm going to joke on you. You know what I'm saying? You going to say something to me? I'm going to say something back. I ain't that you say something to me then we fight. Like, I'm not that guy.
Yeah. See, me, I suck at those shot battles, man. Like, if somebody throwing shots at me, I'm not gonna have enough ammo. No matter who they are, I'm not gonna have enough ammo to shoot back.
I got mama jokes for days. Now, when it comes to like personal shit, like if we're going back and forth on what, you know, how my looks or his looks or whatever, like if the person just gives you, you know, ammo, then it's like, okay, you know, you but if it's a person that you really ain't got a whole lot to go off of, then it makes it hard. But mama jokes, I can make those all day because it's generalized. You don't know how my mama look. I don't know how your mama look. So I'm just gonna base how you look and just put it on your mama.
I feel like the general jokes they straight, but like when niggas get deep, that's when shit get real, man.
But see, that's the thing. I can go as deep as I need to. Pause. I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna make it, cause I remember working at Planet Fitness, and it was this dude, you know, co-worker or whatever. He was a trainer. I was working at a desk or whatnot, and you know, I ain't really know bro like that. We weren't really all. I mean, we were cool, but we weren't like hanging out cool, like, you know what I'm saying? But he was one of those like half white, half, you know, Latino niggas. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he felt like he was, but he was more like on the white side. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't like a minority acting person. Like he was more like thinking he kind of like white type. You know what I'm saying? Cool guy, but then he tried to make the mama jokes and stuff like that. So instead of me like getting like, bro, don't do that. You know, try to get like super serious. That's just not who I am. I was just like, I just make him back. You know what I'm saying? And he was like hairy and short. So I would just make all kind of mama jokes like, yeah, I'm gonna hit that hairy pussy tonight and shit like that. So it was just like, it was good.
You nasty.
Yo, you gotta make, that's what I'm saying. You go, like, if you're gonna go there, I'm gonna go there. But don't get mad if I go there. That's when I get upset. If you're gonna make jokes on my mama and then I make jokes on your mama and then you start getting mad, that's when we have a problem. Because now I'm thinking it's just jokes. Yeah. And then when you want to take it there, now I'm thinking, okay, you was being for real, even though you never met my mama. Now you was trying to go there. So now we going there now because you got mad. That's the difference.
Yo, that actually reminds me. Yo, like say your girlfriend came to you, right? Let's hypothetically you had a girlfriend. Say your girlfriend came to you and she was like, "Look, I'm gonna stop shaving my armpits, and that's gonna be that." What's gonna be your reaction?
Cause then it would matter. Man, no. See, there's only one person can have armpit hair, and that's gotta be me. Like I'm not gonna shave my. I'm not gonna shave my armpit hair. Kind of like my pubic hair. Like I'm not going completely shave on my balls. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not doing that. So there's only can be one person doing that shit. The other person gotta be shaving.
Okay, so it could be a relationship where it's a man and a girl, and the girl don't shave and the man shaves. That's fine.
I mean, if that's how they get down, I don't care how the fuck other niggas get down. I'm talking about me personally.
Word.
Yeah, no, you gotta shave, because I'm not shaving. I want to shave a little. I'm going to trim. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm trim a little bit.
I'm going to give myself a little dark Caesar.
But, and then it's like, even with them, they don't have to go completely bald. They can have a little trim, but it can't look like a force. Like, no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going downtown if it's look. I mean, well, it depends for me. It depends on the length. It depends on how I'm feeling that day.
So you mean to tell me you're admitting right now that you went downtown when it was in jungle in the city?
Not too jungle. It all depends on what we consider jungle, what we consider forest, what we consider, city. So city trees.
City tree. Okay, so was it city trees or was it like a little forest?
Okay, it was along with those borders. Okay, I ain't really a big stickler for the shaving shit.
But look, bro, ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm the same way, bro. It could be a little city, it could be a little forest. You know, as long as she's my girl, I'm fine with it, man. Because it's life.
Yeah, it's life. But yo, let's get this podcast started because we got a special guest today.
Yep.
And I'd like to get into these sports topics before we bring on the guests.
Yeah, let's get these sports topics out of the way so we can bring on our special guest in the building. You know what I mean? We got a guest. She's going to come on in not a couple of minutes, but, you know, half an hour probably. So, yeah, It's your boy Kai Smoove. I'm here with Petty G. And this is the Burg Bros Podcast.
Greens, potatoes, tomatoes, beans, greens, potatoes, chicken, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken. You name it.
Start me off, G. Start me off, man.
Yeah, let's get into these NBA playoff stuff.
Oh yeah. Let's do that.
Okay. You want to start off with what the most recent, to then gonna go into like the little older news, or do you want to go into the Kawhi shot? And then
I definitely want to speak on the Kawhi shot right now. Then we can go to the recent. Then we can go to the older news.
Okay. How you feel about the Kawhi shot?
They said that this is the only Game 7 buzzer beater in NBA history. So I was like, wow, for real? Like, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, like, I thought Michael Jordan or Kobe or somebody did that before, but I guess Kawhi is standing alone with that record.
Because Jordan did the Game 6 when he was sick.
Yeah.
With the Jazz. So that was Game 6. It wasn't 7. So it makes sense.
Yeah, and you know, that shot for me. So you remember how I said Kawhi? You remember how I said Kawhi is a Robin type player rather than a Batman?
Mm-hmm.
So now I changed my mind about him. That shot literally transcended his rating as far as Kyrie ratings go, and he is officially a Batman kind of player with that shot.
Didn't I say he was a Batman?
I think so. I think so.
It feels good to be right, you know. and that's why I posted on the IG that he's my favorite. He's my new favorite player, because
wow.
When I mean, you know, after this year D Wade is retiring. I mean, he already retired, but you know what I'm saying. So there was a vacancy, you know, and you know the default is LeBron James, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, he's the best player right now. He's arguably the best in history. Like, he's the default best favorite player of a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like that, from the simple fact that it just makes me feel like I'm just a part of the 99. I want to be a part of the 1%. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I like to get those players who's good, who's future Hall of Famers that nobody really talks about, the unsung heroes. That's why D Wade was my favorite player, and then I needed somebody to fill that void, and that's Kawhi. And I can kind of even with his personality, I can kind of, you know, reflect onto myself, like how he carry his shit. That's kind of how I've been, like, kind of throughout my life. Like, I'm pretty reserved, quiet. I don't really fuck with too many people. Like, I just like the whole package I'm getting with Kawhi. Pause.
So
you know what I'm saying?
Yo, that's crazy. This guy just said he likes the whole package of Kawhi.
Relax.
But so you mean to tell me sooner or later you're gonna get some cornrows in your head?
Nah, I ain't going that route. But what I will say is, you know, the whole Kawhi laugh that everybody was clowning a few months back. Did you ever see his documentary?
Nah, I haven't.
I actually checked it out. What was it, last night or 2 nights ago? And it actually makes me look at that laugh differently now.
Like, what you mean?
Because I think his father, because growing up, you know, he first fell in love with football. His first love was football. His dad, who was his best friend, his everything. His dad was helped him develop his football and basketball skills. But his dad was a football head, so when Kawhi quit football his 10th grade year in high school and just committed to basketball, his dad was heartbroken or whatnot. And so fast forward, I think it was his freshman year of college. I don't remember what year it was for him, but then his dad because his dad owned a car dealership.
Right.
Well, not a car dealership, a car wash. And his dad ended up getting shot and killed like around the time he was in college. And then from then on, Kawhi was like super dedicated to basketball to take his mind off of that. Because like I said, he was his best friend, not only his father figure, but his best friend. You know what I'm saying? So, and he was, because his dad and his mother was divorced. So every night he was calling his dad and talking to his dad.
Uh-huh.
So he lost his dad, and then he just committed to basketball. Like he was in the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like they were saying like how he would take 2 lamps to the basketball court because there was no lights out there. Like he would take 2 lamps just to be able to see the shoot.
Wow.
Like he was just dedicated, and so it made a lot of sense. And then he tried not to show a lot of emotion behind a lot of stuff. So, and he even said this himself, like back when he won the finals with the Spurs, and then even after that shot, that's the reason why those 2 moments he showed emotion, because those was key moments, and the people in his life kind of was like, yeah, it's okay to show emotion through the big stuff, but all in all, he usually like to keep it, simple. Like I've been there before. So when I seen, so now looking at that laugh, it's like it's kind of pain. Like he's still got like a deep rooted pain that his dad, his best friend, was shot and killed, and he's not in his life, and I think that's kind of what's been behind his whole persona of just keeping everything personal.
Word, that's very interesting. I never thought about that. I guess because I haven't watched the documentary, but that's interesting right there. That it might be that. I don't know, because I just thought the laugh was funny because that's just his regular laugh, but that's not too far off. That might be the reason. Yeah. So he my favorite player. Until he retired, he gonna be my favorite player. Is the documentary on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Yeah, I watch it. I pretty much live on YouTube. Everything I watch is YouTube.
Yeah, that's facts, bro. YouTube is the new TV these days.
Honestly, once they start getting to where they can show like live games on there, they killing it. But until then, they still fall secondary in regards to watching games.
The thing about go ahead.
No, go ahead. You about to get into something. Go ahead.
The thing about Kawhi for me, bro, I know he's a great player. It's just not fun enough for me. D-Wade, when I watched him, I was excited. He did some loop-de-loop, wada wop wop boom bam bop.
Kawhi do some really really fun stuff though.
Kawhi he does the right play at the right times. He makes the right buckets at the right times. He shoots his threes. He gets open shots. He plays good defense, great defense. But it's like there's nothing extra. Like D-Wade, he ain't the flashy. Yeah, he ain't flashy with it. But if you really watching basketball, you really watching like how he maneuver. Like he is very fun to watch if you actually watch it. Like he ain't gonna give you that flashy, 360 dunk, but he's gonna give, like, if you actually watch his highlights, he's giving you some quality highlights. It ain't just niggas just checking on defense and then just shooting a wide open jumper. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you by saying he does have quality gameplay, but it's just not fun. You know what I'm saying? It's not fun to watch.
I guess it's just up to the individual. It's just up to it. Because if I put on a Kawhi highlight reel, like it's gonna, like, he ain't gonna have a flashy dunk, but he gonna make some some fun looking Euros. You know what I'm saying? Even the game winning shot was fun. Like he shot over a 7-footer and made it. It was like the most dramatic shot in NBA history.
Yeah, it was. It was.
So I mean, yeah. But anyways, on to the Warriors whooping the Trailblazers ass. You know, Steph, his brother Self, playing on the Trailblazers team. You know, of course, Steph is on the Warriors. So, you know, it was a big thing of how the parents was going to, you know, root for him. And, so they did a coin flip. The mother got to put on the Trailblazers jersey, and then the father got, you know, the Warriors jersey. And that's how they went about that shit.
By the way, yo, they moms is bad. They moms is a dime piece.
Look better than his girlfriend.
Hell yeah. Not his wife. You got to correct that, Jay. His wife. You know what I mean?
Wife.
Yo, have you seen... Yo. On that note, have you seen what she said about the attention?
Yeah, that shit that was going down last week.
All right, so, G, I want to save that topic. I want you to write that down. I want to save that topic until our guest comes on. You feel me? Yes.
I like how you did that there.
Because I need a female's perspective on that too. So what were you saying? Yeah. So the parents, they, you know, they did the coin flip or the rock paper scissors say shoot, whatever. But they really happy just for any team to go through to the next round. That's all it is. They just happy that this moment is a brother moment.
I mean, because they already know that Steph is going to win that battle. Like, Steph has 36, 37 points. Self, his brother on the Blazers. Sorry, because my pronunciation is crap. But Blazers, Curry, only had 3 points.
I mean, everybody clowning Seth Curry, but I feel like he's a beast. His 3-point percentage is up there.
He a beast, but he ain't NBA beast.
Bro, what? He's NBA beast in my eyes.
No, he's developmental beast.
No.
He ran. Come on. He was the MVP of the D League. You know, when he was with the D League.
Let me tell you what kind of player I feel like he's going to transform into. I feel like
he's like in year 7.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I feel like he's going to be a Lou Williams.
Nah, Lou been getting off. Lou been getting off. He just was on low market teams like the Hawks,
the Clippers,
and like Clippers. He was on some other teams too, I think.
Yeah,
he was one of those players that bounced around.
He been getting off, bro, but I feel like Seth Curry's going to get to that 6-man role point.
He ain't Lou Williams, bro.
He's going to get there, bro. Mark my words.
Do you understand Lou Williams' gameplay? Lou Williams is more than just a shooter.
I know.
Which is what Steph only has. Lou Williams is a saucy player. Like he just gets like he can fit. He create his points, man.
Yeah.
At 6 feet? Like he create his points.
Yeah, he's 6'1", I think.
Yeah, he's different. He's different from Seth.
All Seth got to do is work on his drive, creating shots like Lou in the mid range, all of that. That's all you got to do.
You're not gonna do that in year 7, bro.
Let me see. How old is this man? Like 27, 28?
Probably. You gotta be.
You never know,
bro. Looking it up?
You never know. Oh, yeah, I'm looking it up. Yeah, he's 28.
Yeah, you can't tell old dog new tricks.
Bro, you should be rooting for him. He's from Charlotte, North Carolina, man.
No, I'm rooting. No, look, I'm the type of guy. I keep it real. I keep it real with my teams. I keep it real with my players. I keep it real. I ain't one of these let me butter up, throw some fire up their ass, pause, and kumbaya to everything they fucking do. No, nigga, if you need to improve in XYZ, improve in XYZ, Kind of like how Ben Simmons need to improve his jump shot. Nigga, improve your jump shot. You suck right now. You're good. You're a great player, but you suck because you can't shoot a fucking jumper.
I think he just chooses not to.
Okay, and he's going to choose to be a second-tier player until he does.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. He needs to shoot. This is a shooting league. He needs to shoot.
And then on that point, going to transfer over to the NBA lottery.
Yes.
Because let's do that. Because we, obviously Zion is the talk of the town. Who many say he's not a consistent shooter. So that's why I make this conversion. And yeah, so a lot of people were surprised about that. The lottery winner.
Yeah.
Who nobody was talking about. The Pelicans, New Orleans Pelicans, who is about to be super lit, by the way. And
How so?
Pelicans got. I mean, you get Zion. And then you have AD. So I think they're going to try to shop AD. They ain't going to keep him. So they're going to try to trade him away. I think what they can do, what a lot of experts are saying is they can trade AD for that third pick. And who got the third pick? New York Knicks. You shop AD, Anthony Davis to Knicks, get that third pick, and then get his best friend and roommate, Barrett. You get those two, and the beautiful thing is Stephen A. Smith was saying like, no, it wasn't Stephen A. Smith. It was one of them expert news. They were saying like you need to no, it was Gary V. He one of a great radio personality on ESPN for Charlotte. He was saying like you need to lie to your fans and say that not lie to them, but tell them the truth. Come forward and say you're in rebuild mode, basically. And I oppose that. I'm saying if you get Zion Williamson, 95% of your fans are saying we're not in rebuild mode. We're an automatic 8 seed in the East. Automatic. East is supposed to be the weaker conference, and we got Zion Williamson. Fuck Anthony Davis, AD. We're gonna make it with Zion alone. That's what 90% of your fans are saying anyway. So you don't even need to say all that.
All right, so let's see.
Just draft a nigga.
You said 8th in the East, right? If you get Zion, right?
Yeah.
So
that's how the fans is looking at it. They like we automatic 8th seed in the East if we get Zion.
Yeah. Like he's a generational talent.
And yes, business wise and on the court. Now I'm saying that's how the fans is looking at it. But in reality, they might not even make the playoffs because they're in rebuild mode. But because it's Zion, the fans is looking at it like we have LeBron, we have Jordan, we have an automatic playoff team. So they don't even see the fact that you're in rebuild mode, but you actually are.
So you're just gonna skip over Kobe like that, bro?
And Kobe. Sorry, Kobe. Kobe. Since I got older, I actually gave Kobe a lot more respect. Because when I was younger, I was like, Kobe, man, fuck that nigga. Shaq is the nigga. But now I'm older. I'm like, okay, let me give Kobe his roses. He was a true great.
Yes.
So I'm not gonna go. Yeah. So I'm gonna give him the respect. But I want to go down this the lottery. Well, actually, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go down who won. From 1 through 5. Pelicans, New Orleans Pelicans, Memphis Grizzlies, New York Knicks, LA Lakers at 4, Cleveland Cavs at 5. Don't care about that because Cleveland, outside of Irving, never hit on anything in the top 5 picks. So boom. So then the percentages. So they went to a new format this year than the old format. Old format in the top 3, the worst team had a 25% chance of winning. Second team, 19.9% chance of winning. Third team, 13.8% chance of winning. The new setup is the top 3 gives 14%. Then 4 at 12.5%. 5, 10.5%. 6, 9%. 7 through 9, 6%. 10, 3%. 11, 2%. And then 12 through 15 is 1%. And then a side note, 6 teams since 91 with 1% chance have won the lottery. Just to put in perspective of how even a 1% chance can get you, you still have hope. You know what I'm saying? So just wanted to put that out there.
Like Stephen A. Smith, he was tight that the New York Knicks got number 3 when they was trying to get that number 1 pick, and that would have been crazy because you know how New York Knicks is a huge market, and if they would have got Zion, that would have been some worldly news. I mean, it's still worldly news, but that would have been like even more of a, I don't know, bigger story because people were talking about KD and Kyrie joining the Knicks, and imagine if Zion went over there. That would have been a dominant squad right there. That would have been they would have been up and running with the Bucks, Raptors, Celtics, Sixers, all of them.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like Nick was saying on First Take, it's like New York Knicks is only big to New Yorkers. They're not big to anybody else in the world but New Yorkers. New York is the biggest city in the world. So of course everything there amplifies. But nobody gives a fuck about New York Knicks but New York Knicks. Just like LA. Nobody gives a fuck about LA but LA. Until they're relevant. Just like any other team. Who are we talking about right now? Golden State. Who was ever talking about Golden State 6 years ago? Nobody. But because of Steph, because of Thompson, because of Green, because of Kerr, because of now what was the coach before Kerr got there?
The black guy, I forgot. Mark Jackson. Because Mark Jackson, who laid the foundation, because of them, that's why Golden State is big. Yo, after that,
today, it's like, yeah, it would have been cool to see Zion in New York, but I mean, it'd be just as cool to see him in New Orleans. New Orleans is a great city. I want to visit there one day.
I just don't like their colors, man. I know that.
Yeah, it's weird. And they logo, Pelicans, like.
Yeah, the Pelican? That's worse than the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, but you let Miami Dolphins ride because they such a historic team. But Pelicans, with that being a new team, you can't come out with no Pelicans.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
That's like the Charlotte Hornets.
No, don't do that. Nah, don't do that. Hornets is tough. Bobcats was some trash. Hornets was tough.
Man,
Hornets is tough.
The Bobcats colors was trash, but the name was alright.
Bobcats color. But Hornets, you ever got stung by a Hornet?
Nah.
All right then. Hornets is tough. Pelicans, what the fuck is a pelican gonna do? Take your baby somewhere? The fuck you gonna do? Or is that a stork? That's a stork, right? It's a wrong bird. But anyways, they look the same.
Yeah, they do. I don't know too much about animals, but they look the same.
Yeah. So, at the end of the day, it's a trash. It's just all around trash. So hopefully you give them some shine with Zion if they don't decide to trade the pick away, which I doubt because they whole squad. You see that video of their squad jumping up and down when they won the lottery and shit?
Yeah.
That shit. Yeah. They were corny, but they was happy as fuck.
So do you pretty much like? Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. The top 5 picks, right? We're just gonna do a little mock draft. Who do you think is going to the Pelicans? Like I'm assuming that's Zion Williamson. The Grizzlies. Who do you think will go there at second?
I mean, Ja Morant.
What about Mike Conley? They're gonna trade him away or they're gonna keep him? Like what's going on over there?
I mean, he signed that big ass contract like a few years ago. I don't remember what year it was, but he signed a big ass contract. I mean, he should be coming pretty close to the end of that contract, but even if he's still there, I mean, they can still put Ja as a 2 guard. You know what I'm saying? And because Conley, he's what, 6'1", Ja is like 6'3", 6'4". So I mean, he already kind of plays like a shooting guard. I mean, even though he's a great passer, but he still kind of plays like a shooting guard. So he can still maneuver in that with Conley there. You know
I feel that, bro.
Conley,
I just feel like he's too big of a star to start his career at the shooting guard position and then transition to the point guard.
I mean, but we in a positionless league now, where like Harden, people was considering him a point guard. Mm-hmm. He's considering him a point guard now that he starting to assist and shit now. So it's like shit, fucking Ben Simmons is a point guard and he's 6'10", power forward.
Magic Johnson, man.
I mean, Magic Johnson was a true point guard though. Like when positions mattered, like he was just a 6'9" nigga playing point guard. Now you got niggas like Ben Simmons or motherfucking Lamar Odom saying they a point guard. Like, get the fuck out of here.
No. Trust me.
Even though Lamar Odom was still in that era where positions mattered, but he run the ball up the court.
Ben Simmons is a true point guard, bro, just like Magic Johnson.
Ben Simmons came into the league as a power forward, though.
So, okay.
Okay. My point. So, Ja can easily go to the shooting guard position and still play like he played.
Ben been playing point guard for at least 2 years, full time. He's a point guard.
Okay, he's been in the league for 2 years, but he was playing power forward all of college.
That don't mean nothing. He's a point guard in the NBA. We're talking about the NBA. We're not talking about college. We're talking about the NBA right now.
You're getting to my point. The NBA is now at this point. There's no position matters. You can be an original center 5 or play the 5, and can play the 1 at any point in the game.
Like Nikola Jokic.
Joel Embiid can play the 1 at any point in the game.
Nah, I wouldn't say Joel Embiid. I would just say Jokic. Nikola Jokic.
Jokic?
Yeah.
But Embiid be hitting 3, so that, of course he going to be on the outer rims. And he got a little something with the dribbles. So he can bring the ball up.
Yeah, but if I had to choose a point guard between those two, I would choose Nikola.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, in the perfect world, if you had to choose the point guard, it's not Embiid. But I'm saying the point I'm making is now that Steph Curry has changed the whole format of the league, that Joel Embiid can potentially bring the ball up the court, and it don't matter because we're not looking at positions anymore. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 can be 1, and 3 can be 5, and 5 can be 2. Like it's interchangeable now.
Yeah, it is. Yo, you remember that play when Yao Ming was on a fast break and he dunked it?
Man, no. No.
Yo, you have to look that shit up, bro. This man was on a fast break. Nobody stopped him, and he just dunked it. Yeah, I'm gonna need you to make that phone call.
Hello? Oh shit! Here we go. Hello?
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
Everybody, this is Nia.
How you doing, Nia? I'm Kyrie.
Hi, Kyrie. I'm Nia.
Nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Word.
It's a pleasure of having the great Nia on the podcast.
Oh, don't say that. Put me on a pedestal.
Oh, yeah, you high on that pedestal now. I've been digging you up, so don't make me look bad. Let me stop. You're not. But go ahead, Kaka. I already know Kaka got like a shit ton of questions for you, so go ahead, Kaka.
So yeah, I just want to start off by just ask you, just give us a quick, short little bio, just so the people can hear, what you're about and all that good stuff.
Oh wow, a quick short one. Okay, well, let's see. I grew up in a single-parent household. I grew up with my dad. He ended up getting married. I got to see firsthand dysfunctional, I guess, marriage, and then I went off to college and had relationships, in which time I went down to North Carolina, and I ended up learning a lot about religion from different people, and got myself into some sticky situations, learned a lot, and ended up coming back home after I got pregnant, and found out I had cancer. We fought that, and now I'm here. I'm doing banking now, and starting a neighborhood garden, and living my life perfectly the way I should be.
Word. Like, that's a whole lot. Like, I can get into all of that other good stuff, but that's a whole lot of information right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The world's most interesting lady right here.
Well, thank you.
So explain the gardening. Like, what's that about? What's that?
Okay, so the way it started was, originally when I was younger, my dad used to garden all the time, and I didn't think anything of it. My dad could make these little bitty plants become these monstrous, beautiful looking, phenomenal things, right? And so, you know, as a kid, you're just like, whatever, keep it moving. And then as I got older, fast forwarding to the part where the cancer, and the state wouldn't give me any funding. They wouldn't do anything for me. I really had to fight for every single benefit that they would typically give to somebody who just doesn't feel like working. I had to fight for whatever reason. And one of the things that I had to fight for was fresh fruits and vegetables. It was mind-boggling to me. Here I am pregnant on chemo with cancer, and they won't give me vouchers for fresh fruits and vegetables. I had to fight for food stamps.
Wow.
Okay. And, you know, because I am very resourceful and I can pretty much navigate through different systems, and I know how to network very, very well, I was able to sustain what I needed in order to survive that, as well as when my daughter, you know, was born, be able to provide her with those same benefits. But after the cancer and the chemo, having funds from working back at work, I went to Aldi's, I kid you not, and I spent $40, and I had almost 7 bags of crap. Stuff I probably didn't even need to eat, okay? Mm-hmm. And then I was like, okay, let me go to Wegmans, and Wegmans up here in New York is higher end as far as fresh fruits and vegetables are concerned. You're probably not going to find a better store with a better variety of vegetables and fruit with the quality. And I spent $90, and I left with a bag and a half, and I said, this is absolutely ridiculous. Because there are people who maybe don't have the same knowledge that I have, cannot work the system the way that I can, navigate around legalities, or have the resources that I had to pull from to be able to get the things that I needed. And it made me very sick to my stomach that a lot of the things that they're telling you to eat from the doctors, you can't even afford to get, because the cost of it is so high. Like down in North Carolina, I think, what is a cabbage, like 40 cents or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Sound about right.
Up here, it's about $2.30. If the state is only giving you $300 and something to last you a month, you really can't afford to spend $2.30 on one cabbage for one meal.
Okay. Okay.
So there's also other programs here. We have a lot of rural area outside of Buffalo, as any state does outside of a major city. And they have different programs for different people. But in order to get to those programs, you have to have a car. So a lot of our inner city brethren don't have access to that. Nor do they have the resources to be hooked up to even get into the program to be considered as a family to be sponsored.
Wow.
You know? So it bothered me a lot. So it wouldn't leave me alone, and I kept thinking about it. I'm one of those people, if it's bothering me that much, I just need to go ahead and do it. So I was like, all right, God, this is you. I'm just going to let you take the wheel, and if you really want this to get done, then you need to put everybody in their place where I need to navigate through and how to get to them. And we can start this process in a matter of, I want to say, a month and a half. I already have a grant writer. Somebody donated their backyard. I have materials. We're working on a business plan. I have other people helping. Like, it's phenomenal how well this is taking off in such a short amount of time. But it all started from being poor and not having resources that are supposed to be readily available. I mean, fruit and vegetables come from this earth. I shouldn't have to navigate through a system to be able to eat that.
That's very true. That's very true.
You know, and it's disheartening because you do have these kids who are malnourished because all they know is, let me go to the corner store and get a bag of chips because that's what I can afford. Can I get this $2.30 cabbage, or can I get this 50-cent bag of chips? And I'm hungry. You know, it's concerning to me.
So with you having a kid, where do you feel like is the best place or best system for her to be in as far as schooling?
That is a loaded question. Being politically correct, as a black child, I don't feel like any system is built for her to succeed wholeheartedly, because I grew up in both systems. I went through the Buffalo public school system, which is the inner school system. I've literally gone to all the major top schools, gotten in, and realized when I went to a suburban public school, literally crossed the street and had to go to a suburban school, $2-point-something million library versus Performing Arts Academy, where I had to share a book with 15 other students. Okay? Mm-hmm. And either way it goes, she's either going to be neglected in the public school system in the inner city, or she's going to have issues out in the suburbs because there's not too many kids who look like her. Yeah. So either way it goes, she's going to face different, adversities, and I'm going to have to prepare her either way it goes. I know she's not going to go to a Buffalo public school if I could stand it, because the funding. So this is how the system is set up here in New York. I'm not sure how it is in any other state, but here in New York, a lot of people don't know that if an inner city school is doing below par, they get grants for that funding for more things. Mm-hmm. So if they go above that par, they lose all their funding for that school. So it's a balancing game. Do we educate our kids so that they can essentially succeed in life, and they may not have books, or get this little bit of money? They're still not going to have up-to-date books, but they'll have some books. But we don't have enough money to pay our teachers, so we're kind of screwing our kids anyway. So it's kind of this balancing game. There's a school called East, I think it's called. There was a principal who came in and turned the whole school around. I don't know if you've seen that movie. What is that? The name of that movie with Mr. Clark? You know what I'm talking about?
Mr. Clark.
I haven't seen it.
It's like from the 80s, and he comes in and there was drug dealers. He chains up all the doors, and he's like this mean guy. But the principal who went to the school, I never heard him be mean or chain doors, and I don't think it was ever to that dramatics of the movie. But it's basically the same scenario. He came and he cleaned it up. They lost all their funding. They ended up, I think, honestly, from what I understand, they removed him from that school. The school grades dropped again. They got all their funding back. Like it's this game that they play with inner city schools.
So Nia, okay, so down here in Carolinas, Panthers actually, the new owner Tepper, he been trying to get South Carolina to pretty much give him free money to be able to build a facility in South Carolina, and of course, that's coming from the taxpayers, and then the taxpayers are saying that, that tax money can go towards teachers, can go towards X, Y, Z. So how would you feel about a professional sports team, getting those kind of grants as opposed to it going directly into the schooling system?
From a business standpoint, I can see where he's coming from a mom standpoint, from a person who has grown up in public school systems, who has seen both sides of it. I think it's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. There are other ways that he can pull money. He's a businessman. He can pull money from anywhere. But the thing about grants, he's the richest owner in the NFL. He's the richest owner in the NFL, by the way. Yeah. And it's all about capitalism with them. And from a business standpoint, I understand if you can get free money and you don't have to take out loans, more power to you. Do what you need to do to increase your profitability for your business. Do what you need to do. But as from a mom standpoint, I think it's disgusting.
Now, I would say, playing devil's advocate, Because he's trying to build a facility in Rock Hill, and I don't know if you ever been to Rock Hill, but it's huh?
I said of all places.
Yeah, so Rock Hill is not necessarily the go-to spot. You know what I'm saying? So you got a lot of rundown areas in Rock Hill. So devil's advocate, I would say that he's trying to build something. Because he's trying to build hotels, he's trying to build businesses there, and trying to really pump life into that particular town. And
I see what you're saying, and not to interrupt you. That's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is anytime that there is an area that has low build-up, where there's a lot of poor people, the property value of that area is very, very low. The real estate is very, very low. It is. And it's beneficial for that business to buy property in that area because low cost of the building. So say they try to build something in Charlotte, that building might cost about $50,000, $50 million to build that stadium, whatever he's trying to do. But in Rock Hill, because there's no development there and it's run down, the property is really, really low. It might only cost him $1 million. So he just saved $40 million. That's why they do that. It's not because they care about the community, because it's beneficial for their business. They're getting the best bang for their buck.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, with taxes, when they have that $1 million building that they're building in the poor areas, gentrification is a real thing. They're going to move all those poor people out, and all the rich people are going to take that property because they're going to see that there's development. Then they're going to rebuild it up. Right. But what people don't understand is with taxes, and I just recently found this out, when you have a building, each year you can depreciate that building. So it's not when you first file your taxes that first year, it's worth $1 million. You claim it as $1 million, you bought that building. The next year you can depreciate that building like it was, say, a lawnmower, a tool. You can depreciate the value of that building, and it's completely legal. So the next year you write it off for $500,000. The next year, $2,500,000. You know what I mean? So it's a game that they play, and it's a financial game. What is most cost efficient for this business so that they can lower their overhead? So it has nothing to do with the community, because if it had something to do with the community, they would already provide jobs. They would put back into the system. They wouldn't be trying to take grants from kids.
Right. So this is exactly what happened to Durham, North Carolina, right? Because Durham, North Carolina, they have a rich history. From what I heard and all the pictures I've seen, all the things that I've read, and I'm like, damn, I didn't even know Durham, North Carolina was so historic. Mm-hmm. They were one of the, I think they were one of the first sit-ins. Like, you remember the sit-ins back in the 60s, or was it, the 60s?
Oh, yeah.
So they were one of the first ones, and
they had the first, I believe it was the first black bank. I believe. Then they got it burned down. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they burned the whole city down or some shit like that. Yeah.
You talking about Black Wall Street?
Was Black Wall Street. Yeah.
That was in Durham? For real?
Yeah, that was Durham.
Oh yeah, they bombed them. They didn't just burn that. They bombed them.
Oh no. The one you're talking about, the bomb, I think that was in Oklahoma. Let me look that up.
That's Oklahoma bombing. There was one area where the black dollar was, it was worth more than the American dollar at one point. And regular Wall Street caught wind of that. Higher ups, whoever the powers that may be, found out, and they bombed those people. Bombed them completely.
Yeah, Durham was the Black Wall Street. Yeah. Durham was the Black Wall Street.
Nah, it was Tulsa. Durham was also a Black Wall Street, but it was also Tulsa. And that's the area that they bombed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they killed all those innocent people.
So what? Because Kai he has a newborn. So what advice do you have to give to a new parent as far as parenting?
Oh goodness! As far as how old is your baby?
He just turned 1, March 19th.
Okay. Schedule, no means no. Don't go back on your word. No matter how hard they scream, because they have to learn, especially being an African American, there's just certain liberties that are not given to us. So the whole throwing a tantrum in a store, you know, black kids, we don't do things like that too much because we know that, you know, there's going to be consequences. And not saying you have to scare your kid half to death, but just let them know, hey, that's unacceptable. There will be consequences for your actions, because unfortunately when they become adults, we don't get that, here, I'm going to slap you on your hand and you keep it moving type thing. You know what I mean? We typically get the...
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. So I decided to not, you know, physically punish my son, or, you know, the whippings and all that good stuff like we, you know, got back in the day. So,
right.
How do you, like, you know, handle out the physical?
Okay, so I'm really funny about certain things. And, you know, with coming up as a black family, you're told to be closed mouth about what happens in this house stays in this house. But because of that, there was a lot of things and a lot of families that happened that probably, if it was told, could have stopped and would have let a lot of damage out. So as a 32-year-old woman now, I have learned to let things out just so I can get it off my chest. When I was a child, my father used to be a football player. He almost made it to the pros. I'm talking about big, huge man with huge hands, okay? Single parent. And he didn't realize how heavy his hand was, to the point where one time he hit me and I blacked out. Okay? I got switches and all types of crazy stuff. My dad loved me to death, but there was that. Now as an adult, I am very leery about men being around my daughter. I had an ex who was like, well, why don't you want me to spank her? Because that's not your place. And it wasn't because I wasn't her father. It's just from my childhood, men don't know how hard they hit, you know. And so with my daughter, do I spank her on her butt? Yeah, she gets spanked on her butt. She gets, you know, smacked on her hand. She'll get popped in her mouth if she gets a little too mouthy, because she's very assertive. Where she gets that from, I don't know. No idea where she gets that assertiveness from. But, you know, I am a firm believer of, in the Bible, spare the rod, spoil the child. But at the same time, not in a demeaning way like when we were brought up, where they would get belts and they would get extension cords and just beat you to death. And you're just like, dude, all I did was take a cookie. Chill. Yeah. Like, it's not that serious. So you know,
I was going to say, do you feel like the woman should be the one to beat the child as opposed to the man?
Yes.
So I feel like a man should never put his hand on his child, and I'm going to tell you this for this reason, because the relationship that young woman has with that man is going to set up the precedence for who she dates in the future. And I didn't believe that until this girl I knew since before she had boobs, okay, and she is like 28 now, 29, okay.
Yo, who's gonna go?
Hey, listen. She is in a committed relationship, but I will talk to her.
Go ahead.
She asked me, she said, well, because I was in a very dysfunctional relationship a little year ago, got out of that. And she was just like, well, what is it about this person that is making you come out of your normal? Because, you know, being raised as a man, I didn't grow up with those mannerisms that women have, where they swoon to men and all the little things that women do. I didn't grow up with that. I grew up with a man's man. So I treated men the way I was taught to treat men. Like, oh, you mad? Okay, I'm going to keep it pushing. Yeah, whatever. Mm-hmm. You know? And she asked me what was different about him, because now I was starting to do these things that other women did, and it was because the mind games that he would play, my father would play. The things that he would do, my father would do. It was very, very familiar, and I was comfortable in that familiarity because the relationship I had with my dad was the same relationship I had with him.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting.
So when I see men, and I talk to one, because I'm currently dating, when I go on these dates and I ask them, well, how do you feel about your baby's mother? And how do you feel about this and that and the third? And if they see anything less than, oh, well, she's this and she's that, you're not the one for me, because my daughter has to deal with you.
Right.
And if you're downgrading the woman who gave birth and gave life to your kid, no matter how difficult the situation may be, no matter how crazy she is, you should never dog her to another woman. It's just, that's violation, period. Like, I would never on a date tell another man that my baby father isn't anything like that. No matter what we went through, that is none of that man's business, number one. And number two, if he has a son, if I'm dogging the man who essentially gave my daughter the means to have life, how am I going to treat that little boy?
Very true. Very true.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like you have to really, as a parent, really watch who is around your child, because that relationship will reflect the future relationships that they have with people. Like, for instance, my mother left when I was 3. I have issues with older women to this day. Like, if they get too close to me, I will literally run from them. Nope, we're not doing this today. You know, because it's too, I don't know how to interact because I never had that. You know, and people are like, oh, that's my mom. And my reaction is, and? Because I didn't have that growing up.
Right.
So you have to be very careful, number one, who you bring around your kid, the dynamics of that person, you know, and really watch your kids, because they do regress in some sense if there's things going wrong. For instance, my daughter was with, I was letting this one lady watch my daughter while I was at work, and I noticed my kid is a goofball, okay? Silly little girl, walks around, I had pictures, she will not take a straight picture to save her life, okay? I have to threaten this child, okay? Silly, talks all day long. But when she was at this woman's house, she was in a corner playing with a toy. Very out of the norm for her. And I would ask her, hey, baby, what's the matter? Are you okay? You want to play? And she's just like, no, I want to go home. She never says that. And then I would ask her, hey, do you want to go to the babysitter's house? She would have a nervous breakdown. And I was like, what is going on? And I found out that the woman was intimidating her, was upset with her because she could not intimidate me, because I'm 5'3", okay? But I'm stacked. But I'm 5'3", and when women, and again, being raised by a man, I don't get intimidated easily. That's just not. You can hoop and holler, you can be 8 feet tall. I'll still tell you at the end of the day, if it's that serious to you, we can go outside, and I will show you who I am, and then we can come back in, and you can be put back in your place. You know. But this woman thought that she could intimidate me, and it wasn't a thing for me. It just wasn't. So she was taking it out on my daughter.
Wow. Childish. So you had to remove her from that situation, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, most definitely. Definitely.
So what is your process now of looking, like, do you still look for babysitters? And if you was to give advice to future parents or current parents, how do you go through that process of looking for the right babysitter?
My kids are ready to go into school. I have a babysitter now who is phenomenal. She really loves Ava. There's an understanding of boundaries, and I think that's a huge thing that a lot of parents are scared to do with other people, is set those boundaries. Like, I've told people before, if you put your hands on my child, I will put my hands on you. So however you treat her, just know I'm going to treat you that way. So give her the same respect that you will want me to give you. You know, you have to set those boundaries with people. And most people are nervous about doing that, but honestly, if it's another parent watching your kid, they're going to respect that. You know, because I was a nanny for years, and whatever people had set the rules for their kid, I followed those even before I was a parent. So if someone has pushback on what you're saying about your kid, you don't need to be with that person because they don't respect you. Period. And I had to learn that the hard way. If you can't respect the rules that I have for my child, that means that you do not respect me and my goals for this child. You don't respect me enough to make the right decision for my child. And because you don't respect me enough to understand that what you're doing is inappropriate and I don't like it and I'm paying you, I can pay somebody else and you can find another means of income. You know, things like that. You really have to make sure that the person that you're leaving your kid with has the same values as you, spiritually, emotionally. They have the same makeup, because you never know who somebody is behind closed doors. You know, and I like to sit there and talk to people. I'll let people spill their entire guts just so I can know exactly where they're coming from, because you never know. The person might be good, but Uncle Chris, who's coming over, might be a child molester. You never know what the hell's going to happen once you leave the house. Mm-hmm. So you have to be very, very careful who you're with and really dig into the dynamics of how they grew up, what were their core values growing up, and make sure it's aligned with what you want your kid to be. Because ultimately, your child, people think of their child as being their possession. Your child is not your possession. You are a guide for that child through life. You are setting that child up either for failure or success. how you treat your kid is where you're going to have them eventually lead in life. Now, there are some kids who stray and do whatever they want. They love the whatever and drugs and whatever. But ultimately, you want people around your kid to feed their fire and challenge them and nurture them in a way that complements the route that you want your kid to go to. Whatever goal you have for your child, the people who are around your kid need to be on that same level as you. Otherwise, it's not going to work. I'm telling you that now. It's not. The lady who I was telling you was trying to take that out on my kid, her kids do whatever they want. They in and out of whatever and stuff. And I had to learn that the hard way because I was like, well, she's not them and they chose her. No, those are core dynamics. Core dynamics.
And,
so they have to be on the same wavelength all the way around. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And your kid's going to end up coming home talking about where the 40's at.
Facts.
That's crazy.
Where the rap's at? Where the green at?
You know,
yeah,
exactly.
I don't. Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, as far as my kid's concerned, there's only a few people who I allow my daughter to go to their house. And people know. They're like, okay, but come over. No. I don't think so.
Word.
Go ahead, Kyle. What are you going to ask?
Oh, yeah. You know, so, you know, talk about these kids situations and all of that. It reminded me of a bill that was passed or a bill that was signed by the Alabama governor down there, which is an anti-abortion bill. And you can receive time. You can receive time down there if you commit an abortion. I just want to know how you guys feel on that.
Okay. All right. So I grew up Catholic. We are a firm believer. If you commit you kill someone, you're going to hell. Whatever. My father always told me, you know, you shouldn't get abortions. And it wasn't because you're going to go to hell. It was more so like my family's belief was you could be aborting a child that could cure the world of all diseases, basically. So, and I always held that whenever my friends would call me, like, I'm getting ready to abortion, I'm like, please just think this over before you do it. But every woman is different, and it is her body. Like, when I actually had 2 miscarriages, and I only had 1 birth, and that was Ava. And all 3 pregnancies were very, very difficult pregnancies. I was very, very sick, especially with Ava because I had cancer. You know, my first pregnancy, I carried for a couple months and didn't even know the baby had died because I didn't even know I was pregnant. Right. And as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I found out the baby was dead. But it was dead so long inside of me because my body could not abort it itself that I had to have a surgery and almost died from the surgery.
Wow.
So it's like, it's at the discretion of the woman because that is her body. If she feels that she can mentally not handle that, because honestly, y'all could walk away. We are still stuck with that child because there's that bond. And it is up to the woman if she can mentally handle that going through. Like, for example, over the summer, and I don't want you guys to feel bad for me at all because, you know, he got his ass whooped. But I was in my house. It was late at night. I was asleep. My daughter was in her room asleep. Some guy came into our house with a gun and tried to rape me at gunpoint. Okay? He didn't get very far because, again, like I said, I was raised by an alpha male. I beat his ass. Like, he wasn't ready for the ass whooping he was about to get. And it set me up for PTSD because as a woman, looking the way that I did for so many years, men took it upon themselves to try to help themselves to me. So a lot of the stuff I had blocked out came back. Now, in saying that, I ended up dating a guy, things happened, and I ended up getting an abortion. Because with the PTSD was so severe, I literally was seeing things. They had to put me on medication because it was so intense. I saw that man everywhere I went. I could not bring a baby into the world knowing that I was not mentally capable of taking care of that child.
God bless you.
Yeah, let me just stop you right there. I'm sorry. Before you continue, let me just stop you right there. You are truly blessed. You're a strong soldier in this world. And I just want to ask, you have a bright spirit about you. And I just want to ask, how do you cope with all the events that happen in your life, like all these things that happen, how do you cope? What do you do to keep up?
Great question. Great question. God damn.
Okay, so I had a great example growing up. My father was a lot of things. He loved me first. Everything came second, regardless of his flaws and the mistakes that he made, regardless of any type of physical abuse or mental abuse. Regardless of that, my father loved me dearly. And my father suffered from renal failure. He was supposed to have died when I was 8. He ended up living until I was 19. Okay? Because he held on for me and my brothers and my sister.
Yeah.
Okay? And never once did that man complain about anything that was going through. And I'm talking about, we went through ICU every other week. I would fly from North Carolina on a red eye back to Buffalo. There was one point where the priest came in and gave him his last rites. He came back from that, and he never complained about any of it. None of it. There wasn't not the pain, not the surgeries, and we went through some stuff, and that solidified in me. It doesn't matter how hard it gets. If you're still here, you still can fight. It's okay.
Right.
You know, there have been times, I'm not going to lie, there have been times where I just want to throw in a towel. I'm not going to lie to you. I was like, you know what? I've had enough, guys. I'll see you in afterlife because I can't do this. Y'all got me messed up. How much more you want me to take before I, you know, and I even asked one of my best friends years ago when I was pregnant with cancer, because he saw a lot of it. You know, I've known him since I was like 16, 17, and he got the end where it was getting real bad with my dad. And I remember looking at him and asking him, I was like, because he's very, very close to dear to my heart, like forever dear to my heart. And I looked at him and I said, would you judge me if I just went on a murder spree? Because I don't know how much more I can take. He was like, no, I'll just ask you if you felt better. And, you know, and things like that, and having the dynamics of like my best friend Monica and her fiance Dave, and, you know, my best friend James, who I was just telling you about, and just people along the lines have kept me here and kept me mentally safe, because doing it alone is very, very stressful. But when you have a support team that's like, listen, you're not by yourself, you got this, you can go a little bit longer. You might not see the end of the week, but you can definitely see the next hour or the next 2 minutes. And if you can just hold out for those next couple of moments, it gets a little bit better. And I used to tell myself, if today I can wake up and just say I'm fine, I can get through this day. And that's how I've gotten through everything. If I can wake up and say I'm fine, because I ask myself every morning, are we going to fight today or are we going to give up? Every morning. And every morning it's like, we fighting today. We got this. And I just keep going and going and going. And it doesn't matter what happens next, because I know I've been through so much. There's not too much more that can happen. Now, there's a lot that can happen, but it's just like, I'll be prepared for it. Regardless of the end of the day, if God woke me up, I'm supposed to be here.
God damn, that brought tears to my eyes.
Yeah,
I don't know about Kyle,
I'm truly speechless, to be honest, because I be complaining about the little small things that I be going through in life, and to hear other people's stories is just like, damn, Kai, like you gotta sprucing up.
I mean, but my dynamic of what's intense for me might not be dynamic for you, and what's dynamic for you might not be dynamic for me. It's that individual person. It depends on what you can handle. Like, for you, breaking a nail or chipping paint on your toenails might not be that serious, but if I just spent $45 on this pedicure and that paint chip, I'm cussing somebody out like I'm having a meltdown, and it's not going to be pretty.
I need to chip my toenails, God forbid. But anyway, yeah, staying on a serious note, because like I said, that truly did bring a tear to my eye, because I didn't even know that in depthly about your father. What's your religious views? Because, you know, a lot of people in those kind of circumstances turn to religion for answers. And I know I had a conversation with you, and you really just bored me to death with so much facts on what you consider to be or your outlook on religion. So can you bless us with a little bit of that?
Okay, so just reiterating what I said earlier, I did grow up Catholic. The whole Santa Maria, name the spirit of sit, stand, kneel. Okay. Whenever my friends would go to church with me, they'd be like, "Yeah, I don't know how to be Catholic." I was like, "Listen, just sit, stand, kneel. You just follow directions. You'll be good. And no matter what he says up there, just sit, stand, kneel, take communion. You got this." But as an adult, like when I went back to North Carolina, I was very broken and very lost. And, you know, I went through after my dad died, because it was like a series of events that happened. It was like in 1 year, I was engaged, got pregnant, lost the baby, lost my fiance. And before all of that, like my dad had died. Like, so it was just like, I went through about a 4-year period where I was just glazed over. And I ended up working for this restaurant. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And I was just like, I'm going to do this waitressing gig and whatever. And on this random Sunday, I kid you not, it was just myself and a bartender versus the entire restaurant. And every single table, there was someone asking me, had I found Jesus? And I just looked up at the sky. I was like, really? On my shift where I'm the only waitress? This is what we're going to do today, God? Because most people think that talking to God is you got to talk in tongues and you got to have these special prayers and things like that. Being connected to God is having your own specific relationship with God and knowing God and being able to hear when he's talking to you and be able to be vulnerable enough to let God know what is wrong and go to God. And I'm one of them people, listen, I don't have time for this right now. I'm trying to get this money. Can you talk to me next week? Please. Because I can't with you. You're doing this right now and I have all these tables. Right? So I finally get to the last table and the lady stops me. She's with another one and she's just like, listen, you need to come here and come to this place and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, I'll put it in my thing. Like I did the other 7 tables that gave me their cards, right? And for some reason, I ended up calling them back, randomly, okay? So it started off really well. It was a very loving environment. The church, they had house churches. It was like this thing, this movement. I was really down for it because it was like, well, maybe I'm missing something in my life and maybe this is a sign. Come to find out, it was a cult. Oh God, it was so funny, and I didn't know because I was in the thick of it, and it got me to the point where my godmother was like, "There's something wrong, and you need to come home now." And I was like, "What?" So she ended up paying for a plane ticket and came home, and I ended up staying there and just being deep, as my father would have called it, deprogrammed from what was going on because I didn't realize, because it's seeds that people plant in you and then they build on that and they water those seeds and they nurture that seed and that seed grows inside of you and you don't even realize it until you're in the thick of the forest, that now you're in this thing and you don't know how to get out. And she caught me right before I jumped the ledge, you know what I mean? And with them, I will say about them, they did open up my eyes to a lot of things. One of the things was about the whole Christmas and the different holidays. A lot of that stuff is aligned with paganism. A lot of it. If you Google a lot of the symbols for Christmas, they all go back to paganism, and that dates back. If you look into history, when Catholics were trying to convert the pagans from the Roman Empire and the different empires and stuff like that, what they did was they made an agreement with them. If they can keep some of their religious stuff, they would let them come over, and they just made pretty much like a merger, for instance. So Christmas falls on the last day of the winter solstice, which is a pagan holiday. So when you have the mistletoe was actually used to kill people. So when you kiss underneath, they used to put it on your lips. Like, to kill you, they would put it on your lips. So when you kiss underneath, you're basically praying to whatever god that was. The walking down the street and singing Christmas carols, that came from paganism, when they used to run down the street naked singing songs because they were worshiping the moon god. And it's either the moon god or someone else. Don't quote me exactly, because I'm not a pagan. But I haven't done this research in a long time, but I do remember that, because Christmas was the only day of the year that I actually felt safe. So when I heard all this stuff, it kind of broke my heart. That's why I remember it so much. Things like the Christmas ham. You're really not supposed to be eating pork anyways, but the Christmas ham was a feast that the pagans used to eat at the winter solstice. Taking a fresh tree and adorning it with gold and silver was worshiping the earth god. Like, when you do these things, you're actually practicing paganism, and people don't realize that. And it's like, never in the Bible, if you actually read the Bible and you go for yourself and not go to a pastor or a priest, and I'm not saying discredit any pastor or priest, I'm just saying for yourself, read it. There is nowhere in the Bible where it says you have to have a Christmas tree. Anywhere. There's nowhere where it says December 25th is Jesus' birthday. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that. Nowhere. And then it makes you think of, oh, okay, well, Easter. All right, well, there's a damn rabbit and then an egg, and well, rabbits don't lay eggs. Then you really start asking questions. Okay, well, there's a pagan god of fertility who uses the rabbit as its symbol, and the egg is the symbolization of the fertility. So when we talk about he was reborn and the birth of Christ and all this other kind of stuff, you're really kind of conflicting, because you're really worshiping something else. You know what I mean? And right. I'm not the only one saying it. If you listen to Dick Gregory stuff, he'll tell you the same thing. There's no way that Jesus died on a Friday and rose again on a Sunday, and he's supposed to have risen 3 days later. That's technically Monday, isn't it?
Right.
Hey, shout out to R.I.P. to Dick Gregory, by the way.
Yeah. Right, there's just a lot of different holidays and just a lot of different things that we have adapted as our own because of our merger, because they wanted the pagans to, conform to Christianity, by letting them keep their things, and we have adopted it as our own. And it has become this thing now where if you don't do this and you don't believe in Christ, and that's not the case, because if you really read the Bible for what it is and what it stands for, you'll know that a lot of these things that you're doing is not of God by any means. It's just not. So when they tell you, there's a lot of people who will tell you if you commit adultery and you do this and you do that, yes, it's bad. It's terrible. It's one of the 10 Commandments. You're not supposed to do that. But at the same time, King David saw a woman bathing. And I kid you not, it's in the Bible. He saw her bathing. He fell in love with her. What he did was, because he wanted her sexually, he sent her husband to the front line, got her pregnant, sent him back and was like, please lay with your wife. I brought you back because you're such a great soldier. Please lay with her. Blah, 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 and all this other kind of crap. And he said, no, I can't partake in laying with my wife and have these things when I know my men are dying. And so because he wouldn't go back to the front line, David had him killed because he didn't want the secret to come out.
God damn.
Yeah. And he was said in the Bible to be the most beloved of them all. So it's like when people say you have to be this perfect Christian, there's no such thing as a perfect Christian, because even Jesus rode with hookers, murderers, all different. He died next to 2 murderers. And at the end, they went up to heaven with God, with him. So it's like, there's a lot of hypocritical things that are out there right now that are making people feel less than what they are, and they're getting away from being in the church because they feel like they can't add up to this idea of the perfect Christian who talks in tongues and does this and does that. It's not the case. If you read the Bible, Jesus rode with some sketchy people, and he was cool with it.
Like Nipsey.
Yeah. The woman who washed his feet with her hair and her tears was a hooker.
What you gotta say to that, Kai?
Yeah, that's definitely, like, that reminds me, because I've been also doing my own research, and I didn't know about that side of research, but I've been doing some research on the true Hebrews, Jerusalem, and where blacks originated. And blacks didn't only originate from the continent of Africa. They originated from that middle part between Africa and India, and that city of Jerusalem. And a lot of us don't even know history that far back. All we know is slavery, and then we don't go any further than that.
Yeah, exactly, because that's a design.
Exactly.
That is a design. When people say, you came from slaves, no, I didn't. Where the slaves come from? I'm a descendant of Africans. I didn't come from slavery. Slavery is something that happened to us like the Holocaust happened to the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, and there's multiple cultures that was, a part of slavery that wasn't defined by slavery. It wasn't just African.
Exactly. Exactly. But the way that this society has us, think about it this way. In your history class, they give you Black History Month, they only give you Malcolm X, John Washington Carver, Martin Luther King. They'll give, a couple of those things, right? Okay, Africa is a whole continent. When have you ever learned about a whole continent of Africa throughout that entire year?
And that's why I have a problem with the title African American, because we don't say European American, we don't say Irish American, we just say white people. Exactly. So why are we labeled African American? Why can't we just be black people? You know what I'm saying?
And it's a mind game. It's to keep the masses blind to what's going on, what's really going on. And what people really don't understand is, yes, black people came from Africa. They also came from Middle Eastern, and they came from like the Middle Eastern areas in India. But people also forget that at one point in time, all the continents were one continent. It was called Pangea.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Jurassic Park. That just reminded me of the dinosaurs. Favorite movie. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but hey, shut up. Go ahead.
Hey, listen, Ava loves Jurassic Park too. So one of these days, the two of you can have a marathon. She loves it. She's 4.
I'm gonna fuck her up with some Jurassic Park stats. She ain't gonna know what to say, because I already know in depthly about Jurassic Park. Like, she's not fucking with the kid. She ain't fucking with me on the Jurassic Park shit. But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. But it's funny because my father said before he died, and this is years before, the Ancestry.com came out and internet really took off. He said, it's funny because all these white people hate black people. All of them. But when they really start digging into DNA and they find out they niggas too, they gonna have a heart attack.
God damn. Yeah. That's the realest shit. That's the realest shit.
Like,
ain't that what, it was one of them politicians. Somebody, it was one of them, it wasn't I don't know if it was a politician or one of them, what they call them, the New Age KKK, the, whatever they call them. And they swear up and down. What you say?
No, go ahead. What?
Yeah, they swore up and down that they had 100% white in them or some shit like that. Like, they just knew. And then I forgot what fucking Ancestry, I don't know if it was Ancestry.com or whatever, but then they found out they had a percentage of black in them, and then they just try to refute everything. They try to just goddamn just like, nah, that shit ain't real and all that. And it was just like, I wish I would have remembered the name of them, but yeah, I mean, that just goes to your point. Yeah, we all mix with something.
There is no pure race anymore at all. Even if there was no mixing back, there's no pure race anymore. And I'll tell you why. I'll give you an example. My family, the Bratton family, they're both white and black. The white ones do not talk to the black ones. We have politicians who are black, and they're passing. And I told a lot of my white friends that, and they're just like, no. I'm like, no, look them up. They're Brattons. They're politicians. They're in New York. They're passing for white. They have nothing. They don't want anything to do with the black side, but they're black.
Wait, are they dark skin, brown skin, light skin? I mean, that don't matter. I just want to know.
They appear white. They are passing as a white person, and they're
black.
Like
the rapper, you know the rapper Logic? But they're kind of like him?
No. Is he
look up Logic.
Is he part of that little group?
Huh?
Is he part of that little group, the Generation Y littles?
Nah, he a part of the J. Cole. He part of the J. Cole group. He part of that group.
Okay, I have to look him up.
Yeah, look up Logic. He's half black, half white, but he looks white.
Yeah, he looks white.
Right. Yeah, and if he, even to this day, I know families who have children. It's a mixed couple, and their children appear white. They look Caucasian, and when you look at them, you literally think and they're half black. And so with all of that going on, just think about it. When back in slavery days, when slaves would run away, remember they had the light-skinned ones inside the house. If they ran away and went to the north, there was no record of them anyways. They could have took anything. They could have said anything and got with a white man. And, my father always said, sooner or later, black comes out. You could try to mute it all you want and mix as much as you want, but sooner or later, you're black. That baby's going to come out dark. Sooner or later, somewhere in your line. It's inevitable. And there's just no way that there's any pure anything anymore, because the way that the slave trade went, the way that people have been just navigating throughout the world throughout the years, and just, for instance, I did my ancestry. I'm from damn near every single part of this world. So when people say I'm pure this, there's no way. There's just no way. Like, I'm like 0.01 Polynesian. That's crazy to me. I don't even know anybody Polynesian.
Yeah.
Wait, so okay, this may be a dumb question, but Polynesian sauce from Wendy's, like, is that
okay? All right, that was a dumb question already. Go ahead.
Like,
go ahead, yo, Kai, let's go.
When she said Polynesian, it reminded me of Polynesian sauce. I know how it tastes, but I don't even know why is it called Polynesian sauce.
I don't know either. I've never been to that place.
Did you know that fortune cookie? Because we're staying on the topic of food and culture. Fortune cookies is actually a American structured thing. It's not even a thing in China.
Yeah. So is orange chicken and General Tso's chicken.
Yeah, all that Chinese food here is not in China
at all.
I'll fuck up some Chinese food though. That chicken and pork fried rice.
Yeah, that good rat food.
That got me fucked up. Fuck anybody else say they ain't Chinese. Fuck you. But anyways, I know you had a question earlier, Kai, in one of our earlier topics that you wanted to kind of.
I'm trying to remember because we keep going. It's flowing, man.
In regards to Steph Curry's wife.
Oh yes. This is beautiful. I need a female's perspective. So I'm not sure if you've seen I think it was on Red Table Talk where Aisha Curry was on there and she was speaking on how she's married and she has kids, but she still wants to know if she got it like that, if she's attractive to, other males. And I looked at that situation. It was a whole debate between men and women. Men were saying, a man is giving you everything, money. He's taking care of his kids. He's a father. He's a great husband, blah, blah, blah. And you still asking if you still got it out there. What do women want? And the women are saying, you know what? I can see where she's coming from. I don't know how it feels to be a mother and not being on a market so I just want to know your opinion on that matter.
All right. So what men seem to fail to understand is society is set up to make women insecure about every single aspect of themselves. You guys don't feel insecure to the point that we do. Now, I'm not discrediting if there are any men that are insecure about themselves, but not to the magnitude women are. We are told that we're either too fat, we're too small, our hair's too short, it's too long, your face is this, you look like that, if your eyes don't look like this, you can't do that, if this man don't like you, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's so stressful being a woman. You have to wax this, you have to pluck that, your toes have to look like this. If you don't get your hair done, then you might be a crackhead. Stuff like that all the time. So when you do have a husband who loves you and things of that nature, and you have a kid, and after you have a kid, your body does change. And people don't take into account how much your body changes, not only on the outside, but on the inside. There are mental things that go on with your hormones and all different types of stuff. There's so many changes, and women don't get enough credit for the stuff we go through to bring people into this world. Okay, so for her to say, I want to know if I still have it, I understand it completely, because I had a kid. I'm not even married. Even if I was married, I want to know, do I still look good? And it has nothing to do with my husband or significant other or anything like that. He can give me the whole world, but it's just like, with the way that society's set up, I could see why she would ask that and have those insecurities about whether or not she still has it. That is a beautiful woman. But the way society is set up, if you don't have a big butt, if this and that and the third. Now, mind you, coming up, I graduated high school in 2005, okay? Big butts weren't a thing. That wasn't a thing. I mean, it was big booty Judy or you didn't have it. Like, whatever. It didn't really make a difference. But now, it's like you have to have the fake boobs. You have to have the fake butt. You have to have the thick-ass eyebrows that look like caterpillars on your face. And you have to be beat to the max.
I hate those caterpillar eyebrows.
Yeah.
Listen, I hate them.
A lot of people can't do it right.
I can't take it. I cannot take it. But it's just like when you have all these criteria in order to be considered beautiful, and you just pushed a baby out, and whether the baby tore you open or not, and I'm being very honest. I know it's graphic, but I'm being very honest. You don't feel like yourself. Like it's you don't feel like yourself. things have been rearranged down there from this child, okay? Things don't feel the same way. And your skin changes, your hair changes, you're putting on weight in areas you never put on weight before. You know, things that you weren't allergic to, now you're allergic to. The food, you know, and it makes you question yourself, especially when you have society and magazines, ads, TV, radio, men, women, people always coming at you telling you you're not good enough. So I could understand why she would say, I want to know if I still look beautiful.
Right, but look, I completely 100%, 1000% agree with you of how critical men are towards women in the society, right? But now,
and women too.
Yeah, that's true. But what would be the solution for Ayesha Curry for saying that? Like, what would validate her insecurities? Because she has everything that a woman wants. Well, not a woman wants. Everything that she wants. Like, what would validate that insecurity for her?
I can't speak for her. I don't know that woman personally.
That's facts.
But it's, you know, just self-love. Being able to look in the mirror naked and say, I still look beautiful. You know, it doesn't matter what these magazines say. I've literally, since I've had my daughter and went through all these medications that made me blow the hell up, I've gained 80 damn pounds. I was bad as hell. I'm trying to tell you. Listen, when I tell you, I put my little skirt on, my shirt on, I walk down the street and I have my hair and I would flip it and dudes would be like, oh, you know, even at the weight that I'm at now, I'm still as confident as I was then. And it has to do with your self-esteem. So maybe there might be some underlying issues with her that she might need to work on with either a counselor or maybe even her own mom. Something, that's something personal that she has to work on.
I mean, if you think about it, Steph Curry, can y'all, I know you remember it was a chick last year or a couple years ago. You remember the chick in the stands that was sitting there doing all that extra shit to stare at Steph Curry and shit. She was just like the head thotty that was on that nigga's dick. And it's like, you look at Steph, if he didn't have the beard, he would look like an 18-year-old geeky, skinny ass kid that just was in his books and didn't care about nothing at all. No sex, no anything outside of homework and games. If he didn't have that, if he didn't have that beard, that's exactly how that nigga still would look at almost 30 years old. So, but the fact that he is one of the best players in the NBA, he has all this money, he, you know what I'm saying, he does his little showboating when he shoot a three and all that, he transformed the world's most popular sport. Yeah, he has that power because of his gameplay, because of what he's able to do on the court, not because of his looks. Yeah, he ain't ugly, but he's like without his beard, he's geeky looking. He's no fucking like whatever nigga Michael B. Jordan or whoever. He ain't Chris Brown. He ain't that kind of person to the female population. Just because he's where he's at on the basketball court, that's why he's getting the amount of attention he's getting. So then Ayesha, she's saying that, and it's like, damn. And with all that Nia was saying, it's like, damn. Like where's my love at? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's a whole thing because like nobody really knows what they really want, in my opinion, because people in relationships, if they say something like, dang, I want to know if I still got it, I feel like, you know, if you want to be in a monogamous relationship, that can kind of rub your mate the wrong way. And Steph, I don't know how he feels about that situation, but it will kind of rub me the wrong way, because I know that if you want me, if we're in a relationship, marriage with kids, and you still want to find out if you still got it, it's kind of like, what can I do? Like, I don't know what to do.
But what if he ain't doing what if he ain't doing what he's supposed to do? Then maybe she got away his questions during the playoffs.
Then I feel like that's a one-on-one conversation. It's not for that red table talk. It's not for other people to know. That's why it's news, because she spoke about it publicly.
Yeah.
Right. But I feel like, from a woman's perspective, and again, I don't know this woman, and I don't want to judge the relationship. I don't think it has anything to do with her husband at all. I don't think he's doing anything wrong, to tell you the truth, because he loves his wife. You could see it. You could see it in everything that he does. I really feel like there's some underlying issues with her self-esteem. Right. Because it doesn't matter how committed she is to him and how committed he is to her. And that's one thing that when you're in a relationship, you really have to be able to take your mate for their entirety of who they are with those flaws. Because if I was with a man and I was saying, do I still have it? Am I still beautiful? I would expect my mate not to take offense to that, but be more receptive to underlying issues that I might have that now I am speaking out about without saying. You know what I mean? And just reiterate every day, baby, you're beautiful. Baby, you're gorgeous. Look at you. You know, different things like that, because there's some issues that are going on. If she's still wondering if she still has it, regardless of everything, like I said, I've been through hell and back. I've lost both my breasts to cancer, okay? Both. Mm-hmm. And I have scars out of this world. I've had my gallbladder taken out. And I still, any man I want, I can have. Guaranteed. I'm not playing no games. If I want him, I got him. But... y'all laughing.
No. I like that confidence. I like that. You should have that.
It is what it is. You know what I mean? And she would have to have that underlying feeling about herself. Even on my worst days where I'm still questioning, oh my God, do I look okay? And it's, oh my God, I don't feel the same. At the end of the day, I know who I am. My name is Nia Marie Bratton. My dad taught me that. He instilled that in me. You know, so if she didn't come up that same way, she has these underlying insecurity issues. If she's still wondering if she has it, that is a beautiful woman. So for her to say that publicly, she's actually asking for help. That's what she's doing.
Word.
I mean, I can kind of see it from her view, playing devil's advocate. I can kind of, because you have these different women who ain't really there for the love. They ain't really there for the heart, the shit it takes to have a fucking relationship. They just want the fucking clout. They want the fucking money. That's all they want. That's what they want. So you have all these beautiful different women across the world trying to slide into the DMs and all that bullshit. And she's seeing all this. And she's like, damn, like, what is this nigga really doing on the road? He got 82 games. 41 of them is on the road. He's in Miami. He's in LA. He's in Toronto. What is this nigga really doing?
I thought she was on the road with him, though.
But she can't make all 41 games.
Yeah, that'll be a lot. She got kids.
I can't even watch all 41 games, let alone being in all 41 games.
Mm-hmm. I don't watch basketball, so
I ain't watching all 41 games. I ain't gonna be there for all 41 games. Nigga, you better just do what you supposed to be doing. Play basketball, shoot that motherfucking three like you supposed to, and get us to a goddamn championship. Don't be cheating, nigga. Like that's it. That's what you gotta be doing. Don't be you. If you miss a three, that means you're cheating. That's how you gotta. That's the mindset.
Oh, good grief. Oh, good grief.
Missing three, you cheating.
Three, you cheating. Oh,
that is wild, man.
If you miss a three, you cheating. The next dude I get in a relationship with and he plays basketball. If you miss a three, you cheating. Who is she?
Hey, yeah, exactly.
But this leads.
Why you didn't make that shit?
This leads to my theory, though. I have a theory.
Mm-hmm.
So, as humans, I don't believe that the monogamous relationship should be the primary, the most, like the epitome of what a relationship should be. If you want to, have an open relationship, if you want to have two girlfriends or two boyfriends, if you want to have a three-way relationship, whatever, I feel like you can do whatever you want, and everybody is like, they're so gun-ho on the monogamous relationship, and I'm like, that's just not. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't, and that's why maybe she's feeling this way. Maybe she needs some extra attention from the outside, and she'll be straight.
You know what I noticed? What? I noticed that when it comes to cheating, that it has little to do with the actual relationship between the two individuals. Wow. It has everything to do with everybody on the outside. What do they think? Oh, if this nigga cheating on me, do they know about it? Do I look stupid? I noticed, like, just in what people say, and just in what people say. It's just power in words, and that's a big thing. Is who know about it? Yeah, and it's an ego trip. It's a power trip, more so than it is this person really stepping out on me and really about to put me in harm's way as far as diseases. And, you know, it's more so about embarrassment than it is a disease.
Right. That's true. That's very true.
I feel like a lot of people who talk about monogamy is not for them and it's not a third typically are the ones, and this is just my experience because I deal with a lot of people on a regular basis and I talk to a lot of people. They're typically the ones who cannot handle if their mate does have an outside relationship. Like if it was a man and the woman wanted to not have a monogamous relationship and have an extra boyfriend on the side outside of the guy can't handle it at all. Can't handle it, and vice versa. So I see what you're saying as far as your theory is concerned. Sometimes I do have people who like to be in polytriad relationships. They love it. They think it's amazing. I don't get it. Whatever. But
polytriad, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's a crazy name.
Yeah, it's like a 3-way relationship, and all of them are dating each other, and whatever. I don't like to share. I'm selfish. But typically, so I'll give you a couple examples. Again, raised by a man, so I don't have the same sentiment that most women have for men. I don't. Y'all can leave. Anytime you want to walk out the door, bye-bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, and leave my stuff when you leave. Okay? Bye.
Only if that happened.
Listen.
That'd take out half of your shit and not turn around. They were like, oh, well, it's mine now.
But in my early 20s, I was dating. I was very much a bachelorette, and I really did not commit to men. And I told them up front, I was like, listen, if you're looking for a relationship, I'm not the girl for you. We can hang out, we can chill, we can go to the movies, we have a dinner, but just know, if I don't answer my phone, it's because I didn't answer my phone, because I don't feel like being bothered. You know, and I was very upfront, because I would never want to put anybody in a situation where I'm leading them on and setting them up for failure. I'm not that type of person. I'm going to be very honest with you, up front, what I want and what I need, and if you can't accommodate that, then, you know, sorry for you, but I'm not the girl for you right now, because this is where I'm at in life. You know, and a lot of guys said that they were cool with that. Okay, cool, we can be, and then they would catch feelings, and it's just like, well, how come you ain't call me back? How come you didn't text me? Who is that? Well, number 1, you're not my man. 2, I told you wasn't gonna be my man. And 3, none of your damn business, because I told you you're not my man.
God damn, that's crazy.
You know, so people start off saying that they want, you know, different mates and this and that and the third, but when it comes down to it, some people really can't handle that, you know, and they just lie to themselves. So I really think it really depends on the individual, because like I said, I do know people who are in polytriad relationships and they are happy. The 3 of them could not be happier in whatever little setup they got. I can't do that, but they love it, you know.
Do you think that it's more of an ego thing that, like, say a guy, he say, okay, I'm cool with, you know, open relationship, or I'm cool with, you know, being a polygamous relationship, but then the second he find out that his lady is with another dude, then he tripping. So do you feel like it's more of an ego thing, the reason why a lot of people cannot handle that? And that's outside of the people who is strictly monogamous and, you know, want just the one partner. The polygamy people, the people who say, oh, I'm that guy, I'm fucking this, that, and the third, and the second he find out that you know, Becky is fucking somebody else. What? You doing what? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's an ego. I feel like that's an ego thing.
It is. It's an ego thing. It's a territorial thing. Men are very territorial. And it also depends on the situation. Because like I said, I had a couple guys who were like, all right, cool, whatever. I didn't ask them who they were with. They didn't ask me who I was with. And then I had other guys who said they were cool with it, but then wanted to ask me who was that in my phone? Who am I talking to? This and that and the third. And they were just like, and then they wanted to give me excuses for why they didn't call me. And I was like, I don't care. I don't care why you didn't call. I was busy anyways. Like, I was working. Like, it's cool. We're good. We're friends. It's cool.
So
that's how I was. Huh?
Yeah, go ahead. Just finish.
That's how I was when I was in my early 20s. So just experiencing that from that standpoint, it really just depends on the person, and they have to be prepared for that. You know, when someone does say that to you, can you handle that? Like, and you really have to sit down and think, if I see this person, if I catch feelings and I see them with another person, will I be able to handle that if I catch feelings? Mm-hmm. And back then I was very cut off emotionally. Like, I never cried. I only had two expressions: angry and happy. That was about it. You couldn't get nothing else out of me. Like, I was very, very closed off back then. So it made me no different if somebody walked in my life or walked out. And with a lot of men, because again, being raised by a man, I know how men operate. I know what they want. I know what they need. I can provide that for you with no holds bar. If you want a hot meal when you come home from work, I got you. You want me to shut the fuck up, go in another room, leave you alone, have a drink ready? I got you. I know exactly what type of man you are by the way you walk in and how to handle you. But you have to be prepared for the woman when she says, listen, we are not together. I don't care how many feelings you catch from me. Understand, at the end of the day, I'm not your girlfriend.
Word.
This is temporary. This is just because I feel like being a girlfriend at this moment doesn't mean we are together. I don't commit. I don't want to commit. I'm not in the mood to commit. And I ain't sold on you. So there's that. You know?
Right. So it's funny you say that, because I'm trying to figure out. So, you know, back in my college days, right? You know, I used to be that guy that didn't want to commit to a relationship, and I would try to figure out at which point in time would I tell the woman that I do not want anything other than what we're doing right now. And it's like a gray area. Like, you don't want to say it too early, you don't want to say it too late, because if you say it too late, they're gonna be like, oh, niggas ain't shit, he led me on, blah blah blah. But if you say it too early, they're gonna like, what? I'm not even thinking about all that. What you talking about? So, like, at which point would you verbalize that to that person?
I am anybody who knows me knows I'm a straightforward person. I will tell somebody in the beginning what I'm looking for, and I will give you an honest answer. If you ask me, like, for instance, there's a couple guys who like me now, and they asked me, what am I looking? I said, I'm looking for a friend right now. If it turns into something else, then we'll go from there. But as of this moment, just a friend. Period. I'm not looking for a hookup. I done had them hookup days. I'm good. I'm busy. Don't blow up my phone. We can be cool. I just want somebody I can go to dinner with, go to the movies with, chat with, vent about bank life too, and the issues that I'm having, and that's it. I said, but as far as like being buddy, you coming in my house, and I tell men right up front, you're not coming to my house. I'm not going to yours. You can't meet my daughter.
Word.
Don't even give me ideas. You know, because if you, like I said, with the daughter, you have to set those boundaries with people so they understand, so they don't set themselves up for failure. Because once you tell them what it is and they continue to do it, then it's on them.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And I've had guys in the past, you know, and I've been like, listen, this is what it is. I'm not in a place right now where I can commit to you, because I'm everywhere right now. Like, I literally was traveling. I was doing this. I was back and forth, acting crazy in the clubs. When I say I was doing me, I was a bachelorette. I was doing me. I didn't have time to be wondering why some dude is blowing up my phone and asking me where I'm at, and I'm trying to get another drink for free. Like, I'm not dealing with it.
I'm trying to go to the Cougar Club and get some drinks for free, man.
Okay, so there we go. There we go.
Thank you.
No, you're getting there. You're a pre Cougar. All right, so there we go. We're on to the next one. Just that quickly. Okay, so boom. What advice do you have to a niggas our age, 25? You know what I'm saying? Trying to get on a Cougar. What is your advice to that young nigga right there? What's up?
I don't need no advice. I know how to get a Cougar.
Nah, I don't know how to, nigga. Shut up.
I'm not a cougar, so I wouldn't know.
You're a pre-cougar. You're a pre-graduate. Go ahead.
You know, it's funny. I got off the phone with my James earlier, who's one of my other best friends. The one I was telling you about, who said that he wouldn't judge me if I went on a murder spree. And we just talked about it earlier, and I was like, you know, I meet a lot of guys, and they read all from the same handbook. Baby, you so gorgeous. You so this. You so that. Oh, I can't wait to wife you. Oh, I'm gonna spoil you. Oh, it's all the same book of foolishness bullshit that most men feel from. Like, stop. Hi, how are you doing? The guys who really get my attention, doesn't matter how old they are. Hi, how are you doing? My name is such and such. I like this, this, and that. What are you interested in? Have a real conversation. But when you come off, yeah, baby, and I'm, stamina, and, they call me Mandingo. The first time I'm thinking is, you understood.
They call me Mandingo.
You can't keep up. Like, listen, you can't keep up. You don't have no stamina. You live at home with your mama, or you live at home with your baby mama, but y'all on bad terms. You don't have a car, and you barely got a job because your boss is getting ready to give you your third write-up. Like, I don't got time. I don't have time. I don't.
Yo,
if you talking about, the boys on the block, I'm that nigga, and girls, women my age, we not trying to hear that at all. You on the block doing what with who? I got bills. I don't got time for you.
And you know what disappoints me? When I see another man catcalling a woman, and I'm like, bro, that's not going to work.
At all. Listen, when I was 14, 15, I used to run with dudes. I used to dress like a dude, all that type of stuff, to the point where my dad was like, I have a little girl, not a little boy. And I was like, well, whatever. I was a tomboy. I used to play sports, all of that. And they would catcall me, and I was like, do I look like a puppy to you? And they were like, no. So why are you doing that? You look stupid. Stop it. And that was my thing. And, it's like a lot of guys think, like, what are you doing? Like, stop. Be a gentleman. Walk up, say, hi, how are you doing?
Somebody brought up a good point, though. I forgot where I heard this from, but they brought up a good point that catcalling is the old version of the social media now, where certain women get that validation on social media that women used to get it from catcalling.
I could see that. I could see that. I think one of my favorite things that used to happen when I used to wear my little skirts and my heels and things was when, like, dudes was like, not necessarily hunk, but damn near getting car crashes. That was my favorite. It's like, oh, sugar. I know I'm cute. You can't get none, but
would you ever give your number to a dude who is spitting game at you in a good car, a good looking car? Would you give your number to a nigga that's rolling in that fucking Benz, that Bentley? You giving your number to that nigga if he's catcalling you out of that?
Okay. So it doesn't matter what kind of car you're in. This is the type of woman I am. If I'm not good enough for you to get out of your car and come talk to me like a man, you know what I mean? If I'm not worth it for you to get out of your car and come talk to me, then I don't care what car you're in. You're still gonna be an asshole to me.
I like that.
If you can't get out of your car, I'm not good enough for you to get out your car. You talking to me through the window? I'm the drive-through now. I'm McDonald's. You just gonna pull up and order? No.
These niggas out here drive-throughing, man.
Listen, that's the old
not McDonald's. I don't have a $1 menu. Get your cookies up.
I feel you.
So, have you ever went out of your way, and bagged a man? Like you.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I've bagged several.
Facts. That's what's up. Some men.
Oh my god, my last one, I actually bagged him. That's funny.
Ain't even know it.
That's funny.
He ain't even know it.
Okay. He wasn't ready. He was like, wait, what the fuck?
Did I just get bagged?
Actually, I did.
We're together now? What?
You asked for my number, what?
Huh? What is happening?
He didn't know what was going on. And I looked at him, I was like, oh, you don't need to call her back. I got this. And he was like, what the fuck? Yeah, you good. Call her back in a month when I'm done.
He said, hold on.
I told you, my father was a man's man, and
I feel that.
With the alpha dude, he
I can't stop.
You say you who? You what? Where you got that ring from? What?
Listen.
Nah,
I'm dope. I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, me and Gene just silly. Sometimes we just laugh for 5 minutes about the same shit.
Hey, but you know what? It's very rare. I'm a very rare breed of woman as it is, but you know, there are women who are like me who if we see it and we want it, we got it. It's not a thing, and it doesn't matter how hit I look that day or anything. I've had my hair screwed up. I've had my thick glasses on. I've had hoodies on with my thick glasses, my hair not done, busted sneakers, and I'm like, what's good? And he's like, what? What's good? Like, let me get your number. Let's talk. We'll go on a date. We'll hang out, blah, blah, blah. You know, listen.
I will say that women have that advantage. If a man is looking busted and he trying to holler at a girl, it's not happening.
No, that's not true. That's not true. It depends on how you come off to that woman, because I've had guys who have come off of work, and when I say they were filthy from head to toe, I was like, ooh, you ragamuffin. And he literally, the way he was talking to me and I was like,
they can get that Denzel. They can get that Denzel shit off. They can, I done been dirty at work. You can get that Denzel shit off.
Okay.
Listen,
you can get that shit off.
There's a couple guys that have bagged me coming off of work. I've been like, this might could work.
You can get that shit off. It happens.
Yeah, it depends on how articulate you are, the way that you approach me, your demeanor, the basis of the conversation. It's a lot. Like, so if you're not going to come dressed, you better come verbally and mentally, because you already lost it when you came dirty. But if you come verbally and mentally and you stimulate, I'm like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I'll go on a date with you. Where we going?
Like I told my roommate, I got a elementary English. Like that's the pinnacle of my English is elementary. But I know how to flip that motherfucker. See, you're discrediting yourself. And I told you before.
Yeah, you are.
I do not speak to stupid people. And I don't mean like people who have learning disabilities or anything like that. I'm talking about people who you talk to me are just like, oh my God, what year did you drop out?
Damn.
Like, I can't handle it, because you have to be able. I'm one of those people. If you do not stimulate me mentally, I can't keep a conversation with you, because I get bored and then I get aggravated.
Yeah. But I don't say that to down myself. I say that because I know that in the area of English, like, I never gave a fuck about English as far because I was the type. I was the type that, okay, do you understand what I'm saying? You do? Boom. We good. Don't give a fuck about my enunciation. Don't care about what I'm.
But you're intelligent. And that's what matters. Like, okay, you use simple sentences, whoop-de-doo, but you're intelligent enough to carry on a conversation, especially with me. So you good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have my confidence in other areas. I don't need English specifically. I don't need to say a 12-letter word to be like, oh yeah, I'm that nigga. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, you do? All right, then we good. You know what I'm saying?
You also, on your side, you do have, I'm going to say, from what you guys keep calling me, a cougar's perspective, you do have a beautiful smile. And the fact that you have a six-pack doesn't hurt, honey. And we can tell that from you. And other things. But that's, you got this. If you wanted to bag a girl, you probably, so I'm going to be very honest with you. The way that you look, if you were to approach a woman, you don't have to say many words. She would give you her number.
You making that man blush over there.
Yeah. Listen, you blowing smoke up my ass. You blowing smoke up there. But,
I call it how I see it. I'm just telling you, I call it how I see it.
You was looking at my avi on my Facebook. But anyways, I mean, I just it's not that I don't have confidence in my English. I try to expound on it as much as possible. But I just try to use as much English that I already know and just try to find creative ways for it. My English teacher used to kill me for that shit. No, she used to kill me. She used to give me C's on the regular. Like, she was just like, you just C's, nigga. Like, what are you saying on this paper? Like, what are you saying? I'm just like, you don't see it. You don't see the vision. Like, so I'm just like, all right, boom. Like, I'm just that guy. Like, I'm just gonna flip as much elementary shit as possible.
He said, "You don't see the vision.
You don't see the vision.
You don't see where I'm going with this essay?
Oh my gosh, that's what y'all.
That shit is
You don't
crazy.
see it? You don't feel that? You know what?
Apparently not.
What?
Give you a beginning, middle, and end. Like, damn.
You didn't feel that last paragraph? What?
What more can you ask for in the conclusion? Damn.
What you need from me? What? And I was like, all right, bro, I'm good. I'm good. And I never thought I would be in an area where I needed to verbalize anything. You know what I'm saying? So now that I'm here, I'm just like, hey, let me just capitalize on what I already know.
Exactly. But you don't even listen. I'm telling you, you don't even need to do that. Just shoot those pearly whites at them with your dimples that you got, and just be you. And you got them.
Hey, so then what?
Listen, if I was in North Carolina and I was a little bit younger, I would have been bagged you. But I'm in New York and I'm a lot older.
So then what you say to
age ain't nothing but a number.
Because we got a couple ugly niggas in the crew. We call ourselves the NWO. What we call ourselves, Kai? The NW.
NWD.
You know what's so funny about you guys is that you literally will tell men that they're ugly, but won't compliment a guy who looks good.
No, I will do it.
That is so funny to me.
I'll do it.
I said Steph is not ugly.
Yeah, he also said Michael B. Jordan and Chris Brown.
Now he you know, with the light skin, blue eyes shit, he got it going on. But he ain't no damn Michael B. Jordan though. You know, they ain't checking for that. He is for the little skinny nigga.
Hey G, how do you think about what do you think about Michael B. Jordan, man? How's he look?
Michael B. Jordan, he can't act worth shit from a lot of the critics, but he is handsome. He got whether it's steroids or not, he got the bill. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, my nigga, you doing your thing. I can see why you would bag XYZ. I see it.
I'd climb that tree twice, so whatever.
You say you climbed that tree twice?
I would.
You know what's crazy? Me and Kai say the same thing about Tall.
Yep.
Climb that tree.
We'll climb that tree. Build me a tree house on that.
That's like a tree. That's crazy. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, like, I ain't opposed to giving compliments. I had that same question when niggas would try to clown and say, "Oh, you ugly," but then it's like, then who was a pretty nigga to you? So then I would, that would get them niggas off guard because it's like, okay, I'm clowning this dude, but then I can't give. So I feel you on that question. I feel you. I was there with you.
I got a question though. I got a question. So me and G had a little short conversation earlier. We was talking about a girl, and I said, "Would you bag or nah?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'll smash, but I wouldn't bag." And then I was like, "Oh, true." And then he said, "We're toxic." I'm like, "Wait, toxic? Like, what do you?" And he said, "Toxic masculinity." And I'm like, "That's not toxic masculinity, bro." And I just want to know if you think that is or not.
Yeah, we was talking about the IG thotty.
Mm-hmm.
Who? What? Hold on. Okay. Because I'm old. You're going to have to explain. A what thotty? A who? The what?
Instagram thought.
Okay.
Let's say Instagram model.
And what do you mean by toxic masculinity? I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Elaborate, G.
That's what's funny because I don't think this nigga ever heard of that either. So
I heard that for 5 years, bro.
So he really, the nigga still talking about it. Okay, so I be listening to different podcasts. I'm a podcast head. I just listen. More specifically, Brilliant Idiots, Joe Budden, Joe Rogan, Flagrant 2, but nowadays Joe Budden. But yeah, toxic masculinity is basically it's a feminist term. It's not something that's relevant to everybody, but anything that men say in regard that kind of, in a sense, kind of tear the opposite sex down is kind of regarded as toxic masculinity. It's not necessarily something that is, of status, but it's something in their realm, the feminists, that they can easily jump on and say, oh, that's toxic. Oh, that's toxic. That's toxic. You know, and that's really what it is. It's just a broad term for something that should be catered to just a specific niche, which is 1% of the population of men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or like, say you with your boys, and one of your mans, they play the piano, and you be like, yo, that's gay, bro. And it's they say that's toxic masculinity because
niggas who play the piano get pussy.
Oh yeah.
Yes, the one that I bagged plays 7 instruments.
Woo-wee.
Yeah. So, and I know that niggas that play instruments get pussy. I don't even need to play instrument to know that. That ain't never gonna be discredited. I feel you.
But yeah, that's what it is.
I mean, see, to answer your question, again, you're looking for that super feminine perspective of that, and I'm more not than anything else. My view of things is skewed because, again, I didn't have that female influence growing up, so I pretty much see it the same way y'all do. I'd hit that and leave it. Like, she ain't doing nothing. She just, and it's the same thing with me. If I see a dude, it's just like, I might, but he...
True shit. This is exactly what I told G. Go ahead, explain, go ahead.
Like, because there's, okay, so there was this one guy, and I really liked him, okay? It was great. I don't think I told you about this, G. And he was cool. And again, growing up with a man, there's certain things you can't do with me because I'm going to look at you like you crazy and leave you. Like, real quick, I'm like, I don't know about this. And he was just like, yeah, you talking to other dudes? And I'm like, bruh, we only been talking a week, probably. But, at that moment, I really wasn't. I was like, no, there's nobody else right now. If there was, I'd tell you. Because I literally would tell the person, like, yeah, there's a couple other people that have my interest right now. I'm not settled on anybody, but we're all just friends, you know? But then it was like this intense thing, and it was just like, all right. So I finally asked myself, a guilty conscience always speaks. So are you talking to multiple women? Because there's no reason for you to be accusing me of doing anything. One, we don't have a title, we're not committed, and we're just friends. So what's going on? And he was like, no, it's not that. And then I went on vacation for Mother's Day to go see my family. I only get to see them once a year, because my family is spread out amongst the South, different states. So I have to literally only see them once a year. And, the whole time I'm down there, I didn't receive a text from him that he said that he texted me. And when I came back, he was like, I've been texting you. I've been trying to call you. You haven't, returned my texts or my calls, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, the fuck? So he would be a type of person where he was very attractive, but after his behavior, it would have been like, all right, we could have a night or two, but after that, you got to go. Because you doing too damn much too damn soon.
I respect that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I got that itch, then I might let you scratch it, but you might get addicted, and I might not have to deal with this. How you
feel about the text every day?
Okay, so in that aspect of it, I love good morning texts. I love good night texts. I love during the day texts, but if I say I'm busy and you keep texting me, then it's a problem. Because I do work at a bank, and, I do have to deal with clients and deal with the issues that they're having with their accounts and different things like that. Or if I'm with my daughter, or if I explain that I'm doing something that's really important and you just keep blowing up my phone, there's going to be a problem. If I get sick of you, there's a problem. Because I'm one of them people, I'm laid back. If you text me, I'll text you back, blah, 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 and go through, the different stuff. But if it's to the point where you keep texting me and 3 days later I still haven't returned your text, I probably am not going to return your text.
Word. Do you engage in sexting?
No. Why?
Don't do that. You can get some sexting off. It ain't gotta be good with it.
No.
You can get some twerk shit off.
I cannot speak for any other woman, but the biggest turn off any man has ever done is send me a dick pic. I promise you, I have cut more men off than I have dated because of that. Because I specifically tell men, listen, we cool. If we ever get committed, that's cool. Don't send me pictures of your penis. Just stop.
Have there ever been a dick pic that had you like, damn, maybe I should fuck with that nigga?
Yes, but then I was just like, nah, because if you sending this to me, how many other girls did you send this to? And is this really yours? You probably got this off the internet. So it's like one of those things where it's like,
Well, okay, so then would you ever be like, let me see it in person? Then you see it in person and be like, okay, that's the real deal. Let me put on a camera, let me suck it. You ain't never did that?
What?
Yo, hold on. What in the world? Yo, what?
Yo,
yeah, this nigga's on another planet with the questions.
I'm
man.
saying that's the reason why they send the dick pics, so they can they have the imagery of that happening.
Okay, listen. First off, most women know within the first minute of meeting a man whether or not they're going to engage in that anyways. If you send me a dick pic and I've told you not to, and you send it to me anyways, even if it is huge, even if it is fantastic with the right curvature and the right girth in length, I'm not going to engage you. I'm just not, because I specifically said what I like and what I don't like, and you disregarded my feelings, regardless of whether I like you or not. You disobeyed what I said to you.
Very true.
And I am a very alpha male when it comes to that. I am a dominant when it comes to that. If I tell you I don't like something and you do it anyway to spite me, oh no, you're not getting nothing. Yeah. And I'm worth it. Trust me, I'm very worth it.
Before you say it.
I make that very no. Well, I mean, if he does it before, because I've had guys just randomly come out of their character and just do stupid stuff. Because I feel like sometimes y'all read out of the book of foolishness to the page of dick pics, and you're like, oh yeah, this will get her.
I read that book. Yeah.
Let me send this, yo. This will solidify our relationship. Let me send her a dick pic. Like, fuck. But I've politely told guys, listen, I don't respond to dick pics. Please don't send me those. I don't like them. They don't turn me on. It does nothing for me. It actually gets me very aggravated. To the point where I don't even like you.
I honestly, I hear where women are coming from with that, because I necessarily, like, personally, I do not like vagina pics. I don't like it at all. It's like, why? What am I going to do with this?
Exactly. Why? But why?
Yeah, it looks better in person. It don't look good on this picture or this video here. I don't want that.
Exactly. I would have more respect for a guy, okay? Mind you, and when dudes do this, it really pisses me off anyways. But I have more respect for the guy who sat next to me at the house, we were chilling, watching TV and stuff, and then it's just randomly there in front of my face. I have more respect for that guy because he waited until I was in front of him to do it. Now, the guy who pulled it out in front of me, he's not getting anything. Because he didn't. He's not getting a damn thing. Like, you're not just gonna pull out your penis and then it's there. It's just
what is the okay? So with that being said, what is the worst looking thing that you ever ate?
You said what?
What?
Worst looking thing that you ever ate?
I almost slipped up and said something. Worst looking thing I've ever ate. Probably snails. Escargot.
How'd that taste?
Well, they made it wrong. Because I went to culinary school. It was super chewy. They sent it, I sent it back. They brought it back. It was worse than the first. It was just bad. But typically, it really does melt in your mouth, and it's delicious if it's made right.
Kyle?
Wait, so hold on. I'm so confused as to how we got on this subject.
Because he was trying to make me say something, and
you brought up looking at pussy pics, and
and you thought about eating vagina. That's what that was.
Yeah, so the vagina is not the best looking thing, and so I came up with the question: what's the worst thing you ever ate?
What's the worst thing you've ever ate?
The worst thing worst looking thing. Man, I really don't know. I guess I gotta think a little bit more.
Probably vagina. Same. I don't really eat a lot of things, and a lot of things look decent to eat. So.
Well, I'm glad you're putting it out on the internet. That's what you do. Shout out to you.
I mean, I ain't Jamaican. Jamaicans like to keep that shit just sealed tight.
They don't like to talk about that at all. Oh no, I don't do that. Yes, you do.
I'm Indian and black. I don't care. Like, we doing a damn thing. Whatever helps us survive. I don't fucking know. But you know, I don't care. But well, yeah. I mean, shit. Damn, that was something else I wanted to ask. Go ahead, Kai. What you about to say?
I had nothing to say. I'm still trying to follow where you going with this, the worst looking thing.
Nigga, I told you where I was going with that. You still ain't answered it. Fuck you. You ain't participating. Shit.
No, because there's certain things that people just don't say on air, because that stuff can follow you.
I just
things I'm not
believe
gonna say.
I mean, yeah, there's certain things I'm not gonna say, but I mean, certain things are just entertaining and it's just funny.
Like eating ass.
Do you eat ass? Kai?
That's a great question. That's a great question. Now here.
Do you, Kai?
Here's what I will say.
You're not denying it.
No. I'm not denying it at all. I feel like if you reach a certain point as a grown man where you dab in certain things, and it's okay if you eat ass.
Okay, so how do you feel about guys getting their ass ate?
Oh, that I feel like, okay, I used to think maybe 2 to 3 years ago that, that's wild. Like, whoa, watch it. But, you know, as you get older, like I said.
Okay, yo, Nia.
Yeah.
Nia.
What's up?
Okay, so you grew up in the 2008 era, the Lil Wayne at his prime, the Nellies of the world, the Air Force Ones. You know, you grew up in that era. All right? You grew up in that era. Okay, we in a new era. One of our NWD niggas,
and they all
niggas
probably
with degrees. Niggas with degrees. One of our niggas. They have been a trendsetter.
Oh yeah,
for years.
They
have been a pioneer. For this shit. Literally for this shit. Pioneer.
No pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
And did you watch the Falcons and Patriots Super Bowl, Nia? Did you watch that game?
Did you forget who your friend is? I don't even know who that is.
That was a big deal in Black people history, if you didn't know, because Falcons, ATL, Black, it is a thing. But anyways, yeah. So
excuse me.
So yeah, that's when we found out that one of our NWD niggas, got his ass ate.
Listen, but it's a beautiful thing.
Exactly, man. Ain't nothing
At
wrong
that
with
point
it.
in time, we didn't think so.
True.
Because you never had it happen to you.
And then you start thinking about it, and it's like, okay, we get it. He was the first nigga, the same nigga was the first nigga to admit to eating ass when it wasn't a thing.
Right.
The same guy.
He's a transcendent.
Like, we're going to have him on the podcast one day.
Listen, I knew guys in high school who used to do everything.
In high school?
No, this nigga, he had to, okay? He just had to. But, yo, I co-sign it. I'm with it.
I'm with it, too.
I'm with it.
Oh, okay.
I co-sign it.
Yeah, once you get over that, 21 years of age, you start, you start considering other things.
Oh,
It's a new way.
So let me ask you, young men, this: how do you guys feel about having a woman be the dominant in the bedroom?
I like switching off, right? So I like some days me being dominant, some days her being dominant. I like switching off. Have fun. Let's have fun. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm naturally unselfish. But my thing is, let me get my nut off, then I can accept it. Okay? No, this is what I mean. Boom. I'm gonna do everything that takes to get you into it and all that shit. Mm-hmm. But I'm the type of nigga, I like it nice and slow. That's how I do my porn. I like it nice and slow. I don't like all that rah-rah, boom-bah. Like, no, I ain't me. So when I get mine off, then, boom, we can go into that realm of, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I like to do it. Like, let me get my 3 minutes in, then we can go right into whatever.
3 minutes.
Then we can go right into whatever fight. That's all I need. I'll do that, and then we can go the rest of the night. That's all I need. Then we can go 15 minutes straight. That's it. That's all I need. So that's how.
Listen, I'm gonna be. There are things I would say right now if we were on this podcast.
No, say it on there. Say it on here. Say it on here. Say it.
No.
Say it
because
on the podcast.
I have to maintain some level of ladylike persona. I've already been a dude for the most part of this. Listen, nah, because my future husband might be listening to this and be like, yo, what are you on right now? You know, and I just...
Your husband could be like, damn, I'm falling in love.
Listen, once he gets a hint of me, he'll always be in love, okay?
All right, then. What are you talking about then?
No, there's certain things I just will not say. I'm
just saying.
Respect,
what
respect.
Are you talking about?
You gotta respect it, G. You have to respect it.
I respect it, of course. I respect it.
He just doesn't like it.
Yeah, I respect it. I don't like it. Like, come on, Kai. Get with the program. Like, what you talking about?
Peer pressure.
Let me peer pressure in peace, okay?
Yeah, my bad. Right? I was supposed to join in. My bad, bro. My bad.
All right. No, you just sit this one out, okay? Let me do it.
So are y'all jumping me, or is this a one-on-one battle now?
Nah, it's a one-on-one, because this nigga is too weak for this shit. Nah, he ain't ready for it. He Kyrie. He ain't ready for it. Kyrie Irving. I like that, you know, it look like
It's my cousin,
anyway,
man.
Go ahead.
Since you're peer pressuring me, and I've had a couple glasses of wine since I've been on this phone.
Let's get it.
Turn up.
I wish I had some of that, too. What kind of wine is it?
Oh, you know what? My best friend, she poured me some. We love all different types. This is a new one that we're trying. Let me see if the bottle's still here. Hold on 1 second. I'm walking to the front. Hey, Mo, what's the name of this wine? What was the name of this wine?
Hey, y'all put me on.
Shout out to Mo.
Kim Crawford Sauvignon Blanc.
What the hell? Yeah. I got that fancy shit.
We do like fancy stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm the type of nigga to go to Walmart and just call it a day.
That stuff will give you a headache. So I'm going to need you to upgrade just a tad bit. Not like a whole lot, but enough where you don't have symptoms the next day.
Yeah, give us some recommendations sometime in the future.
What you like. Yeah, most definitely. I think probably in the next couple of months if I can calm my schedule.
Like right now. Like, give us...
right now? It depends on what you like. Stay away from Moscato. It's nothing but sugar.
No, okay, so, boom. All right. So then this transfer me into the next thing I want to ask. What is
I like how I was able to dodge that.
Wait, but hold on. Yo, continue. I'm just go get a little bathroom break. I'll be back in a minute.
Oh, okay. Well, go do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, yeah. Niggas be putting the shit on mute and then using the bathroom. I just say thing.
I'm actually getting some vodka and ginger ale right now.
So you getting popcorn. What you saying?
What? No, I said vodka and ginger ale while I'm talking to you because apparently I'm going to need a drink if we're going to start talking about serious stuff because I didn't think it was going to get this deep.
You said vodka and ginger ale?
Yes.
That's a crazy combo. I ain't never tried that shit. Where you learn that at? That's that Johnson C shit?
I've been professionally drinking since I was 17, okay?
I've been professionally drinking since well... What is clarified as professional drinking? Because I've been sneaking some drinks since high school, but I've been professionally drinking since college. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? We talking about getting drunk? Is that professional drinking?
Yeah. Well, I've mastered it. I think I've only since I've been an adult, and I want to say in my 30-year decade. This past decade, I've actually gotten drunk and hammered and hangovers and stuff. But in my 20s, I never got drunk. I never really got hangovers because I had such a high tolerance for alcohol. Like, when everybody else was passed out and puking everywhere, I was still drinking. Like, I could drink a football player underneath the table. It was great.
Every time we threw a little gathering in our little abode, me and Kai had our last year, well, my last year and his second to last year of college. I wish we had you. We threw a gathering, I remember, and everything was going all good. Everything was great. Invited it was like five girls. It was a little, little group or whatnot. And it just had to be that one chick to be the one that throw up.
Yeah, there's always that one chick.
And we're back.
She threw up on the carpet. Before she threw up, she spilled wine on the carpet. My wine on the carpet. Mind you, it was like beige or whatever, like the light, said light shit. Spilled the wine on the carpet. I'm like, damn, how the fuck am I gonna get this up? Then, minutes later, she then throws up. I'm hella mad. And me being me at that time, this 3 years ago, I'm hot-headed as is. Mm-hmm. And then you put alcohol in my system. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm turned up on it. I'm turned up because then when she threw up, they were just like, oh yeah, we gonna leave. We just gonna leave. We're not gonna clean it up.
Nah. Stop right there. They was trying to clean it up, and I was providing them materials so they can clean it up.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, I was drunk, so I ain't catch that. But I was turned up, and yeah, so I was just going ham, and then Kyle was defending the situation because I was drunk. He was drunk too, but he was less drunk. But he understood where they was coming from, and then it was just a whole thing. So it was just like, man, I hate that because I've never been that type of drunk to just throw up everywhere.
It's irresponsible.
A couple of situations where I threw up. What you say, Kyle?
Yeah, I just said it's irresponsible to have yourself that drunk to where you can't even, carry yourself, get home safely.
But some people it sneaks up on them.
That's facts.
Yeah, because I was playing King's Cup. You remember that year that I was the only one stuck on campus in summer school, and everybody else went the fuck home, and I was stuck with you know who, Kai, and I was stuck with that crew, and we went going to somebody's house party. Turns out I was a teacher's assistant, but I ain't find that out until a couple years later. It was a teacher's assistant house. But he was the DJ at the time. I mean, he's probably still a DJ. I don't know. But yeah, so boom, we at his house. We playing King's Cup, and of course, I end up drinking the last fucking cup, despite being intoxicated before the game even fucking started, and then taking alcohol during the game. Then I had to take the King's Cup, which was a fucking tall-ass cup of straight alcohol that they poured into that motherfucker. So I had to take that shit. So, of course, I was throwing up straight liquid and passed out. Of course, these niggas left me at the fucking house. They didn't even...
Oh, honey.
Me there. Huh?
I said, oh, honey.
Yeah. And then, guess who took me home? The fucking owner of the fucking house. The DJ / teacher assistant. And he was cool about it.
Well, I mean, it's college. Things happen. People know. Like, when I had my condo, my roommate, because the condo was in her and her father's name. And she would have these wild, crazy parties. And she's a white girl. I loved her to death. But she would have these crazy-ass parties. And, like, me and, like, my black friends, we would come back from the club and be like, why are there passed out kids everywhere? I'm talking about everywhere, and people throwing up over banisters. I will never forget this one girl. She got so drunk and it was funny to me because she was messing with the dude who was trying to mess with me. And I didn't know that he was messing with her until she got drunk and was inside my room, puking her brains out in a bucket, talking about something. I just want my daddy dick. Da 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 da. Wow. Where's such and such? I was like, and I finally, because I used to be a jerk back then. I used to be like, so who is daddy dick, honey? Who is this guy you keep talking about? And she said his name. I was like, oh, for real? Called him up. I was like, yo, come and get your girlfriend from my house, man. And he was just like, who you talking about?
How you feel about girls that they fucking calling their lovers daddy?
I used to have issues with that. I used to have a lot of issues with that. Like, I could never do it because, like, I referred to my father as daddy, and the last thing I want to think about when I'm having sex is my father. You know what I mean? So it was just like, and I was daddy's girl. So it was just like, you want me to call you what? No, I'm sorry. You have the wrong female. I'm gonna call you by your name. You want me to say your name? I can do that. I'm not calling you daddy.
How about Poppy? Poppy?
I mean, I'm not Hispanic, so that's not a thing. But I mean, now that I'm older and I'm in my 30s, I mean, it's really not. It really depends on how great it is, because I might slip up and be like, woo, okay, I see you. Yep, you got that.
Mm-hmm.
But back when I was in my early 20s, it wasn't going down.
It. Oh man.
Oh my god.
Nah, but that's what's up though. That's what's up though.
Huh?
You're a tomboy. You're a true tomboy.
I am. I really am. Like, people don't understand. Like,
I fucks with you for real, for real.
Through and through. Like, you know what made me start dressing like a girl?
What?
I was down in North Carolina, and one of my homegirls, she's super girly. She was in a sorority and all that other kind of stuff, and I had some other girls I used to run with, because I was trying something different, because it was just like, you know, my boys is back here in New York, and I was like, oh, let me do something different. I'm working at a restaurant. It's number of females as waitresses. Let me be friends with them. And so the girl walked over, she was like, Nia. I was like, what? And this was when I was a bitch. I was like, what? And she was just like, you're a little manly. I was like, that's never stopped any guy from trying to get at me. Or your boyfriend.
Ooh.
God damn.
That was damn.
God.
You know, and that's when I was a bitch. And you know, I mean, she and I, we still cool and everything else like that. But, you know, she let me know, she was like, bruh, you real manly. Because I really would, like, when I wasn't at work, when you say the era that I grew up in, the Dipset and the Lil Wayne and stuff, like, I have pictures of me when I was a teenager with Timberlands on, baggy jeans, a white tee, and a fitted, like for real, like, I roll with dudes. Like, people, and they look at me now and they don't believe me. I'm like, no, for real. I ran with dudes. I fought with dudes. I got jumped by a bunch of dudes. Like, I didn't know how else to act because I was raised by a man. So I didn't know how to, you know, interact with females that didn't act like tomboys or didn't have a little bit of tomboy in them. So if they were like girly girls, I looked at them as like a little sister that I had to protect versus, oh, that's my, you know what I mean? It was just different. So.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, some of the dykes, they had the good. Well, go ahead, Kyle. What you gonna say?
Wait, hold on. Yo, we not gonna overpass that. What did you just say, son?
I said some of the dykes had a little good.
And what does that mean?
Man, hey.
Wait. What does that mean, G?
Why you gotta
explain yourself now? You coming out here saying all this and that. Let's go.
You mean to tell me you be hollering at dykes, bro?
No, I don't know. No, that's not how it happens.
And
you know,
for the record, I am not. So
I'm not saying you a dyke. I'm saying that you said you was dressed like a dude and all that. I was saying, boom. Yeah, because Kai know the situation. Kai, you fucking know it. So boom. All right. So it was a night that because it was these twins that we met. It was like a couple. It was a couple years older than us. Mad. They were mad cool. One was a dyke, one wasn't. And I guess the dyke one hung with other dykes, I guess. I don't know if that's a thing or not. But
that's a thing, yeah.
So that was a thing. And so it was like my freshman or sophomore year. And I'm just killing it. I'm just kicking it with because how me and Cotton met was through this guy named Blank. I'm not gonna say his name until he come onto the podcast. So he it was me, him, and Kai at the time, and that's how I don't know if that's how Kai knew of the twins, but that's how I knew of the twins because of the connect basically, and so boom. One night just there, it was late, we were playing cards, and then for whatever reason, niggas just got spurt, they went here, they went there, and it was a night that, cause we went to cookout or some shit, and we came back, and somehow these niggas got ketchup on my motherfucking outfit. I was heated, and but anyways, that's irrelevant. But boom, so later on, it was just me, Kai, and the Connect, and we were just sitting there, and they were just, I don't know what the fuck they was doing, and then the dyke was back there, and so then she waved me to that direction. I went in, and but then she just, I forgot how I went, but then we basically just basically did it. And it was just that was a one-time thing. I mean, but it wasn't like an ugly dyke. It was like one of those like pretty dykes. So it was that happened.
G had a Young and May moment.
Nah, not Young and not Young and May. Young and May be getting chicks, but it ain't. Ain't that she ain't attracted to niggas.
Listen, I don't even listen. I'd climb that tree twice.
Word.
Okay, and I'm not even
But that's a dude to you.
That's not a dude. That's a woman. That's a woman to me. That she got titties and everything.
That's a dude to me. That's a dude. The night that I was up. Yeah,
that's the big blood.
If she transitions into a man, then she'll be a man to me. But that's a woman.
The inside is crazy. If you understood the inside joke of the big blood, you'd be laughing right now.
Yo, we used to say the big blood for like 6 months because we seen this video on Twitter of this guy. He kept saying, "Yo, I'm the big blood," and we just use it for every situation we was in. So
that was longer than like 6 months. That was about a year or two.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while now, but that was some funny shit. But I mean, like I said, I ain't got no problem with dykes because the pretty ones still got vagina. So
hey, and they're all cool. I'm trying to tell you, they always been cool with me. They understand. I'm over here, you over there. We cool. Like I tried to throw it back. She was like, "Nah, nigga, I'm strictly girls now. I was just experimenting to niggas." I was like, "Oh, okay." So,
I'll go on by my way. All right.
Yeah. All right. I tried it. You give me an A for effort. Goddamn. Yeah. So that happened. Yeah. So
good times,
that's
man.
my story.
That was some good times, man.
Yeah. It was just great times. College is just crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, college was.
What is your wildest time in college?
Mine?
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay, so when I was in college, I was low key, but I was still very popular. Like to the point that, okay, so how can I put this? When I walked into a party, people knew who I was, and they'd be like, "Yo," because they used to call me Trip D. And this is the reason why is because back my freshman year of college, actually my senior year of high school, there was like all high party, which up here is like all the schools, all the high schools get together, they throw this big ass party or whatever like that. Everybody comes out, and so that's been back when airbrush T-shirts were out and the trucker hats were out. So I had a trucker hat and I had airbrushed across my chest, Trip D, and I used to have a really, really small waist and huge boobs and big thighs. Like I was shaped like a Coke bottle, okay? So it was an inside joke because all my friends I used to run with, that I grew up with or whatever. Some of the girls, was like, yo, Nia, you should, come with us and blah, 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 and do this and do the airbrush. I was like, so we can go in there and look like a broke down drill team. I was like, all right, so y'all want to play with me, so I'm going to play with you. So I got a t-shirt that said Trip D across it. And when I freshman year of high school or college, I went into a party just wearing that t-shirt and my chef pants. I wasn't trying to impress anybody. I was just there just to see what was good. Walk in there. I remember this dude named Brandon walked up to me. He was upperclassman. He took one look at my t-shirt and started dying laughing. He was like, yo, her t-shirt says Trip D, my nigga. Yo, somebody get her a drink. Ever since then, 3 different colleges knew me. UNC, Johnson C. Smith, and Johnson & Wales. All the black people knew me. Every time I went into a party, I got free drinks. I never had to pay. And I used to be a pothead back then. I'm talking about I could smoke anybody out of the water. Free weed. I'm talking about people who didn't know who I was. I would walk into the room because they always have the smoking party in the back. Mm-hmm. I would walk in the room and it didn't hurt that the dude that I was talking to was a party promoter and he threw a lot of parties too. And I didn't know that. I thought he was cool. Like, because I was more into books than I was into him. So I didn't care what he was doing with his life. And I walked into these smoke rooms. And a lot of people were like, no, she got to put in on this. And they're like, she ain't got to put on shit. Pass her. And I was like, oh, shout out to y'all. So, there's so many times that I've seen it all. I've seen people have blackouts from drinking and have to be rushed to the emergency room. I've seen all-out brawls. I've seen all types of crazy stuff. The people, like the girl who I had the condo with, the kids puking everywhere. There was a point in time where not UNC Charlotte, but Johnson C. Smith was trying to fight Johnson & Wales. Somebody shot up our kitchen. Like, it was craziness. Like, damn. Just absolutely crazy. Just all the time.
Don't fuck with the kitchen.
Well, Johnson & Wales is known for their culinary programs. It's a business school. People think it's a culinary school. It's not. It's a business school, and we're known for our culinary college that we have. Right. And we have these beautiful windows outside of the North building. And somebody came through and shot them up or some shit like that. I was back in Buffalo when it happened, so I missed all the action. But it just when I tell you. Listen, people still talk about college days with me to this day. I'm 32 years old. That was like, God, that was when I was 18.
No, because I was telling Kyle about, because the guy, me and you know Nia.
Yeah.
So I was telling him about.
He was suave.
So I was telling him about how when I went amongst. Because I was playing cards with, not him, but the people that went to school with y'all. And then another dude that was a year older than me. And how they were just telling all these great stories from Johnson C. Smith. And I was like, damn, that reminds me of my days back in the HBCU, NCCU, yay. You know what I'm saying? And so I was just like, damn, man. Like, despite us being 6, 7 years apart, like we pretty much kind of partied and moved the same way.
And it was great. And the friend that he's talking about, Kai, can I say his name? Is that allowed?
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Shout out to Harold Logan. Hey, baby. He's my homie. Known him since freshman year. He cool as ever. He was so suave, and like back then, full tomboy. Was not thinking about him. All the girls on my floor used to be like, "Oh my God, Harold! Oh, I can't wait!" And I was like, "He's not even thinking about you, like at all. Like, calm your tits."
And what's funny about that? If you know him, when now and for the past 2-3 years that I've known him, it was like the complete opposite of what she speaks of or what anybody from that era speaks of. Because he's like the prototypical dad now. Like, he's so professional. He's so, like, just a nice guy. But how they talk about it, he was just this big-time player back then.
Like, oh, my God. You don't understand. Like, listen, you know what, but he was always an upstanding dude back then, too. I can honestly say that about him. He was always very honest. He just was always cool. Like, that was always my homie. Always. I never had a crush on him. I used to love his hugs, though. He used to give these hugs, okay? And this is how...
When I dap him up and hug, I was like, yeah, he get him.
Because he means it. Like, no. You don't understand. Like, it's not like that. It's like he actually means it. Like, it's not like one of those things, but, I'm just going to hug you. It's like, he's like, no, I'm embracing you because I care about you.
Yeah, he's a real down-to-earth dude. Like, he's a genuine guy. We're going to have him on the podcast one day.
Bet.
But he's a genuine... The Be Great guys. I don't know if you've seen my Facebook last year, Kyle, but him, that guy.
Word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but Harold...
He's down... Yeah, Harold is a... Like, you know how Patrick is... You know, he's in that caliber of...
I feel that.
Of guys. He's that kind of guy.
I guarantee if Patrick went up against Harold would have bagged all of them. Patrick would have been looking like a little ugly duck. Because, listen, Harold had this way of, even he had me at a split second. He did something. I was like, ooh. I was like, oh, it's Harold. Stop it.
I ain't gonna lie now. Patrick, now, Chicks was talking about Mr. President because he was the president of NCCU.
Nah, he was the Mr. NCCU.
Yeah, President, Mr. NCCU. It was the same thing. But yeah, he Chicks was talking about this guy. Like, Chicks was like, Mr. NCCU.
Listen,
he Kappa and all that bullshit. Yeah.
Listen, Harold was known across the campus. I'm talking about not just our campus. I'm talking about other schools' campuses. Everybody knew who Harold Logan was because he had that suave, debonair type persona, and he would talk real low, and he's just like, yeah, baby. So I'm just saying, if you want to, you can come through. Don't feel any pressure. If you show up, you show up. If you don't, you don't. Like, he always had this way of talking to everybody, but he knew what to say to every girl. Like, they would, and it's not like one of those things where girls were like fighting each other. Oh, that's my man. Like, they would have been cool if he would have been like, all of y'all are my girlfriend. They would have been like, all right, cool, we all his girlfriend.
Damn.
We gonna make him dinner together. We gonna go shopping together. If he wants his feet rubbed, somebody grab a toe. I'm gonna grab the big toe. I got his back. You gonna get his migraine? I got his migraine. Like, they would have worked as a family.
You would never guess this is the same guy in 2019. This is a completely different attitude now.
Yo, I used to laugh so hard because these girls used to go so hard for him, and I used to be like, he's not even interested in you.
But he has the same level of coolness because the way we would talk business, like, he was just on another level of cool, bro. Like, you just felt at home. You just knew he was the guy. Just like Patrick, like, you just knew he was the guy that was going to be able to be the forefront of whatever business you wanted.
Word.
Shout out to Harold.
Yeah.
Shout out, man. Shout out to Harold. Shout out to Pat too.
Yeah.
I haven't met Pat. I want to meet Pat. I want to see.
Yeah, he's a good stand-up
Mr.
guy.
Kappa. Yeah. Actually, go check out his Instagram, Patrick O. Minor. He got his own clothing line for the sickle cell because he has sickle cell. I have the sickle cell trait. He has sickle cell, and he has his own movement to help with sickle cell. So definitely check him out.
Yeah, definitely.
I actually sent him a picture because I just got in the T-shirt that I bought, and I sent him the T-shirt. He was so excited and shit. I'm like, bruh, I'm gonna buy more of this shit before the summer ends. You know, I already done told Kyle like how many trips I got going on, but I'm going to still invest in black business and bigger causes than just going to a Las Vegas trip. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, shout out this guy. You need to go and purchase his shit. Go to his Instagram. He is an amazing guy. And shout out to Harold too. Yeah, he got a good thing going too. So shout out to both of them.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Y'all got anything else?
I mean, do you have any other questions for me while you have me?
Not at the moment. We definitely going to have you on this podcast again because there's a lot of stuff. I want to get to with you.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
You're honestly one of my favorite guests, to be honest.
Oh, thank you so much. I
already knew that. I already knew this was going to be a damn near 3-hour podcast. So I already knew, like,
is it 3 hours?
The sports bullshit. Let's put everything on what she has to say because I already know.
Facts. Yeah, G called it.
And there's no slight to any guest that we had. It's just she Nia is very experienced in life.
Word.
For her young age, she's very experienced.
Oh, listen to you. I might have to fly you to New York.
Ooh, child.
Oh, Lord. But nah, Nia should definitely have. We don't even deserve our own podcast because we don't really know shit. Nia knows a lot of stuff. She deserves her own podcast. She deserves her own whatever.
Thank you. I'll think about that. Maybe y'all can help me set something up.
Most definitely, yeah.
Yeah, y'all in the same proximity. Like you in Buffalo, he in Jersey. Y'all right there.
No. I'm close to. See, you're thinking New York City, honey bunny. I am Western New York. We're right by Niagara Falls, 4 hours from Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, that's like upstate New York.
It's not upstate. It's very west.
West. And I'm more towards New York City. So yeah.
Okay.
He's 8 hours away from me. If that is the bigger picture, he's 8 hours.
So boom, me thinking as a Southern nigga, because I never really divulged in that. I'm like, okay, thank you for that. I want to go to Toronto. Let's all someday plan a Toronto trip.
That sounds good.
Toronto is like an hour and a half from where I live. Whenever you decide to bring yourself to New York, and you, Mr. Kai, if you want to come here, you are more than welcome to come. We can all go to Toronto because it's popping. I'm trying to tell you, especially the Carib. I don't know if you guys have heard about the Jamaican Festival of Caribana. Oh, honey.
Oh, I bet it's lit. Oh, yeah, that gotta be lit up there.
Listen. I'm not a thought, but when I go there, sometimes I feel like I have thought tendencies. I think about thought things, but I don't engage in thought things.
Hey.
That's how serious it is there. Like it's serious.
I wouldn't shame you if you engaged in the thought things. I wouldn't shame you.
Listen, I would never tell you if I engaged in thought things, but I have not engaged in thought things in Toronto. I can honestly say that.
Okay, so before we close this great podcast up, I just gotta ask, because you told me that Buffalo is the food capital of the world. Why is Buffalo the food capital of the fucking world?
Okay, so I'm gonna get a lot of backlash from this, especially from a lot of my culinary friends. They're like, no, because you haven't tasted. No, I'm gonna tell you why. Because we have, just like New York City has a plethora of different cultures and varieties and authenticated food there, we have the same thing. And we have people's grandmothers in the back kitchen making the food. There isn't a place in Buffalo where you can go and be like, oh, that food is nasty. I've been to Charlotte and been like, oh, there's one place there that I can eat food and I'm not going to gag, But Buffalo, there's not a place here where you can be like, oh, that place is nasty. They'll just be like, oh, I prefer this place. They're not bad, but I prefer this place better because of this and that and the third. There's such a variety of so many different ethnicities here where you can pretty much get that authentic food from that country here, and it's delicious. Like, when I went to Charlotte, you know how they say the freshman 15? My freshman year, I lost 15 pounds. Lost 15 pounds. I ain't gained 15 pounds. I lost 15 pounds. The food was so nasty. I was like, bro, I'm not eating nothing. And the pizza's terrible down there. But the pizza up here is so good.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But, I mean, if you guys come, I will cook. It'll be all good, or we can go to restaurants, whatever you choose. Just know there's going to be lots of wine.
I fucks with you heavy. Wow. Yo, you know what, G? We got to make this trip, man. She's being a great hostess right now.
Hey, listen, my doors are always open. You are more than welcome to come whenever you'd like, as long as I ain't got to work, because I'm about my coins. But yeah, I definitely will cook. We can go wherever you want. If you want to, just know that if you want to go to Canada, you do have to have your passport, because neither one of you are a New York State resident. And if you don't have your passport, you typically need an enhanced license. But you'll need your passport, because you can get into Canada, you just won't be able to get back into America.
Damn. Yeah, I got to get that shit straightened out.
Yeah. So definitely take care of that. Go expedite your passport. Come up here, come see me. And we'll show you the best time that you'll ever have.
Say no more. Say no more.
That That's some strong words right there.
Yeah, that's some strong words. And we're gonna wrap it up with that, unless anybody else got anything else to say, any shout-outs.
Listen, I just want to thank you so much, both of you, for letting me come on here and chat with you. I had a blast. This is an amazing podcast. And whenever you want me to come back, I am more than happy to come.
Facts. And I thank you for joining us, because this was a lovely conversation, and I needed it.
Oh yeah, I already told Kyle. I told him this, and I mean he was excited, but because I was bigging you up heavy, and
yeah, very much so.
You lived up to it.
Well, I'm glad I could live up to that.
Facts, and I feel like I could have a conversation with you anytime.
Hey, anytime. I'm always here. Just text me, because if I'm at work, I'm not going to answer my phone.
True.
All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. You have a wonderful night.
No problem. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Boo, boo, boo. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys for listening. If you are listening, you know, we still fresh out here, so we trying to gain them views up. That was a lovely episode. We talked about everything from sex, religion, black history, and all of that good stuff. Make sure you guys follow us on a page, Burg Bros Podcast. That's on Instagram. Also YouTube. Watch those videos. You can follow me on Instagram and all social media sites at the Crooklyn Third. Boom, what you got for me, G?
You can follow me at Petty G, the Don, on Instagram. Yeah, definitely check us out. We up and coming. We here. We ready. We going to do it. We're going to kill this thing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's all I got for you. Let's hit it with the outro.
Bro, that sound like a old school whack ass DJ. Boom, let's hit it with the outro.
The old school producer like, yo, let's just wrap this shit up. Let's go, bro. What are you talking about?
That's the big blood right there, man.
Yeah, big blood. You're like, what are you talking about, bro?
But all right, y'all. I want to thank you guys for listening again. And yep, this is the Burg Bros Podcast.